Hello gamers! Welcome! Hopefully everything is running smoothly. This is like a brand new setup for me. So hello guys, welcome to the stream. Hopefully everything is running okay. I've got a lot of new fancy gizmos and gadgets galore. Including a brand new microphone which should hopefully help with the noise reduction and you can hear me a lot more clearly, which is beautiful. Welcome guys, welcome. It feels so long for me because it's been like 2 weeks since I've been on my channel. Like I had like uploads for you guys and everything, but like technically I've been away for a few weeks, so I gotta get back into this. I gotta jump back in. Alright, so on the list of cool things I have upgraded, I have finally maybe fixed my PNG tuber. So let's give that a whirl, shall we? Let's give that a little show here. Hello, this is my new little PNG tuber, and this is my new little like intro card. Isn't that so fun? I think it's so cool. I got lots of cool little emotes. I can like draw now actively, which is cool. And I really love it. It's gonna be a whole lot of fun. Very, very cool. So yes, my name is Hawley, otherwise known as PetPyves. I am a queer, autistic, disabled artist, and these are my pronouns right next to me. They, them, he, him, she, her. I use all pronouns. I created 12 in Origins. I run Brightside, and I'm the creator of Persona Project. And today, we're gonna be talking about Persona Project Year 10. It's gonna be a bit of a doozy, a bit of a long stream, so buckle up. It was a long year. A lot of things happen. Just be mindful that we're gonna talk about some, not so fun topics. Obviously, with Persona Project, it is a real-life autobiography of my story, so it can tend to get a little intense sometimes, so just be wary. I'll try to warn you of exact content warnings before I start talking about certain things. Alright, so, oh yes, I have lots of fun updates. So we have a brand new little streaming setup here, which features our lovely little donation bowl that Peeves is holding. And now you guys can freaking donate french fries to me. They're shaped like french fries now. It's so cute. And then if you subscribe, it's a dino nugget. It's the best thing ever. So I'm really excited about that. Other than that, we have the fan art feature right above me. If you want to submit fan art, there's a link in every single live stream that's open all the time. Please utilize it. Please don't beg in the comments, and please don't ask in the live chat how to submit it. It is up there. There's cute little animated exclamation points, y'all. Like, it is so visible. If you don't know how to submit it, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, I've tried my best to make it as accessible as possible. Oh my god, Mel! It's lagging. It'll take a second to read it out. There it is. Yay!
Parker Mellow Money.
Yay! Parker Mellow Money. There it is. There it is. Thank you so much for the first little fries donut. I think they were smiley fries. That is so awesome. Yes, guys. So, oh, I think that's just about everything. Holy cow. Alright. Guys, if you have comments that you're like, hey, not to be mean, I mean, you're probably being mean. This is just how I like my art. Yeah, my glasses go over my nose, by the way. If you've ever worn glasses, they go on your nose. And yeah, I have a nose, and I kind of like drawing them, and they're very cute. If you don't like it, sorry, I do, and it's my channel, so hee hee, it's mine, and I can do whatever I want. And that's the blackbird coming out. And that's the blackbird coming out. There it is. Oh, thank you, Chelsea.
Testing the fry bowl greater than love the new setup BTW.
Yo, you set french fries flying everywhere. That is so cool. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. It is lagging my computer ever so slightly. But we'll get there. It is definitely gonna be like a little bit of a weird time to adjust for me. Cause yeah, it is My computer is on its last legs for sure, but I'm hopefully going to be upgrading it very soon thanks to you guys and all your support, so I very much appreciate that. I could go on and on and on about what my last 2 weeks have been like, but I'll just keep it short. Essentially, I took a little bit of a break. I really wanted to work on getting year 11 ready because it's kind of the worst year of my life, so it really needed some extra attention. So yeah, I just basically took some time to do that, spent some time with friends, had some really wild antics, and now we are here, and we're going to talk about year 10. This was my 5th grade. This was the last year in middle school for me. And it has some really great moments, but then it has some really, really tragic moments as well. And so, the very first episode, obviously, is like a really funny one. It's called Spy Cats, and Spy Cats was the very first book that I'd ever written. It was like, I tried to make it like a... Whoa! Oh, yay, thank you, Universe, for telling me that the stream is in sync. That's beautiful, because on my end, it's like, oh, it's having a heart attack. Which is so funny. Okay, so, I'm also gonna be drinking a ton of water. It's so gloomy out today, my body is not having it. Alright, so yeah, Spy Cats was my first little story that I ever wrote. It was about my cats being secret agents, and I was totally inspired by my new teacher. So we don't have this, who I call Miss Palm. We don't have her anymore. We've got my very beloved teacher, Mr. Crow. Mr. Crow was the most influential teacher I've ever had, and if you've had a teacher like Mr. Crow, you know just how much they can change your life, and this man is no different.
Hey, have you heard about the new Rosalina content?
Oh, I have not. I didn't even know it was- I have not been keeping up with mostly anything online. I've been on a digital detox for the past 2 weeks, so no. Thank you so much, Chrysamon Lotus. Thank you for that lovely dono. I have not heard of the new Rosalina content, but I'll have to check it out. That's probably really cool. Do I still have the copy of the book, Azula? Yes, I do! I still have the original Spy Cats. Good Lord have mercy. Spy Cats books. Yes, I still have them. And I'm going to be making videos about them, don't worry. I'm holding on to them. They're very precious. But yeah, Mr. Crow was like my most influential teacher. He had to speak through a microphone at class. That was something that was very distinct. I kind of hated it because I'm very noise sensitive and it was just like right in my face all the time and I was like, ah! But he was such a wonderful thing. He wrote this book called Big Bad Bumpy Bertha. And it was in this yellow binder. Like, he legit, like, had hand typed this out on a typewriter, kind of passion project. This man made this book, and we read it aloud in class. It was part of, like, our reading assignment thing. And it was just essentially about this, like, bully girl who got, like, killed in a storm. It's kind of crazy. Like, basically a tree fell on her and she, like, saved everybody, and it was, like, tragic as heck. Which, in retrospect, I was like, why did he share this with a bunch of 5th graders? But, like, we love that, Mr. Crow. We love that so much. He made me give up my dream of wanting to become the president. Which was very short-lived, but still was a thing. And then I wanted to become an author. And this right here is an actual, like, this is actually a picture I took of Spy Cat's cover. Like, you can see the water damage. Like, this is a legitimate, like, screen cap. Oh my goodness. The music is dying. Okay, relax. Goodness gracious. My poor computer. Okay, so, yeah, this is a legit screen cap. And this is so cute, and this is exactly what I used the same program that I made Slash, like my first OC. Same program. Same, like, open office, free PowerPoint program that I made, like, everything in this era. So it was, like, the huge inspiration for PetPyves because it was, like, the first introduction I had to storytelling. And that was, like, so important, because, like, beforehand I was, like, interested in art, in stories and stuff, but not nearly as much as 5th grade. Like, my teacher definitely was, like, the biggest influence for me. Oh, no, Sachi Coco, he never published it, which was kind of sad. I wish he had, but I do have a copy of the book somewhere. I don't know if that was lost in, like, in the move that I had, but I used to have a copy of it. I don't know if I still do. I'm about to go through all my things and see if I do, and if I do, I would love to, like, do, like, a really nice read-through of it in honor of him. I think that would be so cool. But yeah, Spy Cats, I wrote it in, like, as if it were a TV show, right? So I had, like, seasons and episodes, and, like, I always wanted to, like, be an animator from this point on. Like, this is where it began. Like, this is where my love of cartoon cats and stuff it began. And it's really funny because I feel like Hawley era and Robin are, like, the most, like, proud of this. Like, we're like, oh, we love Spy Cats. Spy Cats is legendary. Spy Cats is great, right? But, like, Parker thinks this is the most embarrassing thing in the whole wide world, because Parker's, like, in high school, and Parker is a cool high schooler who, like, makes real stories, like, akin to anime and stuff. So, like, this is, like, the embarrassing, like, oh no, not my Sparkle Cat, like, little first story. Like, Parker's so, like, embarrassed about it. Literally, yes! Austin, you're right. It is very much a canon event for kids to, like, make their own, like, show or book or some form of something. So I made Spy Cats in year 11, so I was 11 years old, or 11. I was 10 years old, made it in year 10. I'm writing and working on year 11, so I apologize if I keep saying 11, it's because 11 is on my brain. Year 10 is when I made Spy Cats, so it is 15 years old now. Oh, I feel ancient. Yeah. It's 15 years old. And so Parker the whole time is not having a good time. But I feel like Wild Child would have absolutely loved this. And this is also really great. I traced over my original artwork I did for the book here. So this is exactly how I used to draw. Isn't it so precious? I love it so much. Look how cute the cats are. Oh, they have the most precious little beans. Like, they have little toe beans in horrible proportions, and it's just so cute. I am obsessed, dude. Oh, Lost Ones. 12 inspired 5-year-old me so much it's not even funny. Aww. Wow. You were 5? Ah! I feel old. I'm so old. Holy shit, I'm so old. Oh, goodness. How did I choose my name, Zeke's Corner? That is a really random question, but it's a really kind of amazing. So, like, obviously I've gone by Hawley on the internet for a long time. Like, Holly was, like, my internet name for the longest time. Because when I started YouTube, I was a minor, and I wanted to protect myself online, and that was really important that I did that. So I had a whole other name, because... Oh, goodness, that just jump scared me.
I just woke up tongue Spy Cats forever.
Yay, Fizzy! Welcome into the world of the living, and thank you for the dono. That is awesome. But yeah, so my name at birth was Haley, which, like, ew, god, sorry. If your name is Haley, I do apologize, but my god, dude, Haley doesn't fit me at all, man. That's why one of my errors is named Haley, because I really tried to like the name, and I really hated it. So then I decided, okay, what if I take Hawley, because I already like going by that, but I spell it differently. And I was like, well, there's not really, like, a ton of ways to, like, spell Hawley, aside from, like, Holly. And then I was like, oh, what if I, like, take the name Haley and just replace one letter? A W. Yes, I'm taking the W, guys. Let's go. I'm taking the W. So it combines my name. It's the name that I want to be called, and it's the name I was given at birth, just one letter off. And I think it's just the most perfect name for me. I love it so much. I think it's the most unique name spelling of Hawley too, which is really cool. I think the only person I get compared to is Tally Hall member, which is like, I get that comment so much it's like kind of annoying, but yeah, I'm just another one of those cool Hawleys, I guess. I love Tally Hall, so yay. There was also a street that when I was road tripping, I saw a street named Hawley, and I was like, oh, that's a cool way to spell that. So there's just like all kinds of signs from the universe that this was meant to be my name. So good question. I really like it. I like my chosen name, as most people do, because I chose them. But yeah, this was my original drawings of the spy cats. The whole concept of spy cats was that they were living under our mobile home, right? And they would use our air vents to go down to the secret base. I was convinced that underneath our house was this elaborate, like, high-tech secret base for cats. And so that's, like, what I drew out here. And these are, again, these are the drawings that were from the Spy Cats books. I just digitalized them. Oh no, now it's gonna ask me to save all my projects. Oh dear, stop, don't do this. Okay, you're breaking my stream. Stop it. Stop it. Alright. So yeah, this is Tom, my cat named Tom. He was the leader. He was apparently very chill, very cool guy. And then Jealous, here's Jealous. She was the healer. They had like powers and stuff, kind of like Avatar: The Last Airbender in a way, where like they had like elemental powers, but then they just had like straight up random magic that you can't explain. Like I can't explain it, but like Jealous could heal and she was a gardener. And then Squirt is like, she has like super speed, and like she was like basically like, I don't even know how to explain it, but like the knight, where she was like the protector of the group. This is just a very generic cat playing with yarn in a tree drawing, which is just so funny. And then there's Frisco. He was supposed to be like the guy in the chair, nerd emoji guy. And this is him with a bunch of tuna cans and fish, and he's eaten it all. And he has a tummy ache, apparently. I don't know why I made him on the floor. But this is Cuddles. He was kind of the main character. This is him playing with bugs on a tree stump. He was my little Siamese cat. And I don't know why I made him the main character. I guess because he was the youngest and I was a young kid and I thought that would be cool. Firefoxes, this is not based off of Warrior Cats because Warrior Cats did not exist yet. Put that into perspective of how freaking old I am. Alright? Warrior Cats was not even on the table yet. That didn't exist yet. This predates that, believe it or not. Or at least for when I knew about it, so I wouldn't have been influenced by it. Yes, the cats had guns. What? The cats had guns. And they would shoot each other with, like, laser guns and stuff, like, from outer space. I did establish that outer, like, space aliens were a thing. I don't know why, bro. It's so funny. The dogs and cats would just shoot each other with guns. I'm like, oh my god, what the hell? So yeah, that was the thing. And then there was a real drawing of the main villain of Spy Cats, who I kid you not is named the P-Dog. This is the P-Dog. Oh my god. We called him that because he would come into our yard and he would pee on our grass and then walk away. He was like some neighbor's dog or something, and he would just come into our yard, pee and leave, and we'd be like, it's the P-Dog! And like, we would like make him into a celebrity. So that was why we called him that, and that was like the whole entire premise, was that the Spy Cats were trying to fight off the dogs. And Blackbird is obviously like super proud of this. Parker is really embarrassed. But I really think it was a great episode to cover, because, like, everybody has those, like, embarrassing childhood stories that they try to make. And, like, this is just one of the few times I feel that Wild Child and Blackbird really bond because of their love of cats and art, and I feel like Blackbird adopting this lifelong dream that has still been my dream to this day, to be an author, to be a storyteller, to be an artist. Like, this was such an important thing that connects Blackbird to the rest of us. Because, like, so far, I have, like, hopefully shown you that Blackbird is really different from a lot of other eras in my life. Like, she is super jarringly different, but this is the instance where we all are the same, and I really like that. And that's all I have to say about Spy Cats. I was going to show more pages of the book, but I really want to hold on to them and make like a whole video about it, because it is genuinely— there's like 2 seasons. I have more than that. I found more Spy Cats. I found like at least 4 different books I've written, like 2 chapter books and like 2 like cartoon series with episodes and stuff. So I'd love to animate it. Like, that's my ultimate goal. I'd love to animate it and voice act it and like get like legit voice actors to voice it like word for word, not even change the script. Like, I think it would just be so cool. Alright, as I show off this animation and stuff, I am turning off the subtitling layers so you can see like all the art underneath, because sometimes it gets covered up. Oh, goodness. Oh, Austin! Thank you, dude! Holy cow!
I hope you had a good break. I'm working on my portfolio for the art college. I want to become an art/creative director. Wish me luck.
Good luck, dude. You've got that in the bag, dude. I hope your portfolio turns out just the way you like it, and I hope you get accepted, and I hope everything goes well. And if it doesn't, keep pushing, keep creating, even if it's just for you. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, that's so inspiring. Yay, that's amazing. Awesome, dude. Oh, wow, wait, I missed something. Not edible, you became a member? Awesome, dude. Thank you so much for that. That is so cool. It didn't even notify me. How lame, YouTube. Lame, YouTube. But just welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the channel memberships. They're so rad. We have such a fun time. Dude, I know right Ches is good, bro. Oh, man, I'm so happy to see you on the stream, dude. I have so many of your great Wobble Dogs names. Like, I literally remember you for how great your Wobble Dogs names are and how they're coming up in some episodes, so stay tuned. Okay, so the next episode is the FCAT, so a little bit of a content warning. I'm going to talk about some not great things, such as OCD, anxiety, and PTSD. Gosh, I'm having a hard time articulating words today. This episode is kind of about the first time I experienced OCD. It was kind of intense. So, basically the story is that there was a big standardized test coming up, and if you failed it, you'd get held back. And that was absolutely terrifying to me as a kid, because I had fought so hard to stay in the average for a lot of topics. There were some areas where I was quote-unquote gifted, right? Like, there was, like, things that I absolutely excelled at, and then there were things that I absolutely flunked. Because that's kind of how it is when it comes to, like, special education. That's why you need specialized education, is so that way you can focus on the areas that need help, and not so much on the ones that you already excel at. But unfortunately, I wasn't given special education, so I was in regular classes and just having to pick up the slack of where I was struggling all on my own. And I was terrified that I was gonna fail. So they sent home like this little list of things that you had to do to like set you up for success. And I was at my dad's house that night, and this is very important. So I was at my dad's house, and I basically cooked myself my own dinner to make sure it was like the best it could have been, which all I could cook at the time was like pancakes and eggs, so that's that. And then it was study. I had to study, and then I had to get a good night's rest, which would have been easy if there hadn't been like a literal tropical storm hitting us that night. You can see Clockwork on the screen. She represents my C-PTSD. And when it comes to natural disasters and things, my PTSD goes absolutely wild. I've been through some really bad natural disasters, as you could see from Wild Child's era. And so, all of the entities were kind of plaguing my mind that night. My anxiety growing more and more, literally. And I started to have my first OCD thoughts, which kind of manifest as, like, intrusive thoughts that have really severe consequences. Like, example, I had to run to my dad's room and sleep with my dad. And my brother was already there, by the way. I thought that was really a funny detail, is that when I went to go and be like, Dad, I'm scared, I want to sleep in here tonight, I'm scared. My brother already did the same thing. So I wasn't alone. So I wedged myself between them, and the thoughts kind of came to me that if I fell asleep, bad things would happen. Like the houseboat that my grandparents left at my dad's house while it was being sold, it would just fall over and crush us and we would die. Just thoughts that, like, lightning would come through the window and, like, somehow only get my brother. And, like, all of this stuff, I was being forced to stay awake. So I really wanted to exemplify that by having Showbiz literally hold my face to the window to watch the storm. It's almost like an extreme form of hypervigilance, where I was so afraid that something would happen, I had to watch it at all times just to feel an ounce of safety, or else something bad would happen. But that's, you know, what the OCD made me believe. That was the whole entire, like, first experience I had. I did manage to pass the test, even though I did not sleep at all. I literally stayed up the entire night. It was, like, one of my most hardest nights I think I've ever gone through. And then I pulled off the test, and I don't know how I did it. And this is kind of another weird OCD thought of mine, is I'll associate, like, cause and effect with things that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So before the test, they gave me a Lifesavers mint, a peppermint. And they said, mints help you focus. We're gonna give you the mints before the test, and they will help you do your best, right? So I took the mint, and probably just by placebo effect, I was just like, wow, it's working! Oh my goodness! All of a sudden, like, I was able to focus, I wasn't tired anymore, and, like, it solved all my problems. And so I started to become very obsessed with mints. And it started to become, like, a really extremely weird habit for me, where I would associate mints with, like, relief, where I would be like, oh, if I don't eat a mint before I take a test, I'm gonna fail. Every single time. It was like, eat a mint, eat a mint, eat a mint, eat a mint. And, like, I was very much like, my whole backpack, I had an entire pocket that was dedicated to mints for whenever the OCD would come up and it'd be like, oh no, this bad thing's gonna happen, I have to take the mint or else this is gonna happen. And I ended up really hating peppermint because of this. I hate spearmint, I hate all kinds of mint because of this. Like, my toothpaste is like child's toothpaste because I literally can't have normal toothpaste because of this. Like, my OCD kind of manifests in a strange way sometimes. And I know I'm not alone in this. I know a lot of other people who have OCD, and they have either similar or different experiences, because there's so many varieties of obsessive compulsive disorder. But this is just how mine started. Like, this is the starting point, if that tells you just how bad things kind of get. This is kind of the first episode that showed off Showbiz. And Blackbird doesn't seem to understand how this is a bad thing. As you can see. But this is the very beginning of that. This year is unfortunately the beginning of a lot of kind of not great things. But that's all for that episode. We're gonna move forward to the next one, which we have a couple of— I try to sprinkle in some wholesome ones here and there. Oh, thank you guys for all the support. That's so sweet. That is really, really nice. Also, Crash Zone, I'm not entirely sure if they actually do help you. I really, truly don't know. I believed it, though. And it definitely became a pattern for me. Alright, so I'm gonna turn off the subtitles again because look! Underneath the subtitles, Blackbird is wearing bunny ears! And I was like, man, subtitles, sometimes I just cover up too much. And I'm like, no, my bunny ears! I have worked hard to draw those little bunny ears, come on! Oh, I'm so glad you guys are able to relate, and I'm glad that we're all not alone in this really random experience. Okay, so the next episode is 143. This is Easter Hunt. This is about one of the best Easters I ever had. Sometimes I get comments about people asking about other holidays where they're like, oh, did you ever celebrate this? Did you just ever celebrate that? And if you don't see an episode about a holiday yet, just give it time. Because I try to only cover, like, either the best or the worst. Like, I don't really like to cover, like, just, like, and then I had this very mediocre, like, Thanksgiving. like, it just seems kind of, like, pointless, like, to the story kind of thing. I'm only trying to focus on, like, the key points of things that, like, matter. In the long run. And the really good happy memories really do matter too, just as much as the bad. That's really important to me. So one day we woke up, and usually every time we woke up on Easter, there'd be big Easter baskets, and then we go and do an egg hunt, and that was like our little tradition. But at my dad's house that year, the baskets were gone. My dad had like cut out these big bunny prints out of construction paper that were leading out the door. And then he even drew them in the dirt outside and everything. Like, he went the full 9 yards just to do this. And so he had explained that the Easter eggs this year had little hints to where our baskets were and they were hidden. And my dad got these very specific Easter eggs that were supposed to camouflage with nature, and that was like low-key evil. Like, it was so hard to find some of these. And yes, my brother is driving the little Chevy, like, Wild Child's little, like, not remote controlled, but, like, battery-powered car. Yep, my brother drove that around that day. We loaded up the trunk with, like, eggs and stuff, and the eggs had a bunch of prizes in them, and then the hints, of course. Whoa! There we go. But yeah, we always used to get Easter baskets and Easter eggs and things like that. Sometimes we get to paint eggs, you know, dye them with like the dyes and the vinegar and all that stuff. Very typical American Easter TM. And my dad, of course, thought this was so funny because we spent hours, we could not find our baskets because he put them up in a tree. They were literally up in a tree. Like, he used a ladder and put them up as high as possible. Like, it was not just like in plain sight either. This was like up very high, and like he was having the best time watching us run around in circles until I finally spotted them in like the top of the tree. And then when we got them down, I think that's the coolest part, when we got them down, they actually had new Pokemon games in them. It was the Pokemon Platinum. It was like the like spin-off of like Diamond and Pearl. And it was like the coolest thing ever that we got like a whole Pokemon game, and we were like so happy that we had like run around the yard, got sunburned and ate up by ants and everything just so we could get a new Pokemon game. Like, it became so worth it. It was just so freaking wholesome. And I just like sharing that story because it just goes to show you just how far my dad would go just to be like the most fun guy. Alright. Oh, I'm seeing lots of slash lighthearted to slash sillies in the chat. Yes, I love to see it. That's how we want to keep it. Doodlemations, am I doing okay now? Yeah, I'm doing really great now. It's gonna be a little bit hard this next couple of years for Persona Project. I've been kind of an emotional wreck over it lately, but that's kind of the point. I'm just processing a lot of trauma. So I'm doing good. I have a therapist. I'm working very hard on my story, but oh man, I am in such a better place. I'm like, every episode I get more and more off my chest, and it's beautiful. Alright, so the next episode is Charlotte's Web. This is one of the last plays I put on in elementary school. By this point, I'd become quite the little actor. So we were gonna do Charlotte's Web, and if you don't know what Charlotte's Web is, it's basically about a pig that is going to get turned into bacon unless he wins a prize. There's a spider involved that dies, and it's a bit of a weird tragedy. Just great idea for a play. But I got 2 roles. I got to be the mom character and one of the baby spiders. And that was really cool that I got to, because the mom only shows up in the beginning of the play, and then the baby spider only shows up at the end. So I got to help out in the middle with, like, costumes and stuff. Like, it was definitely, like, really fun. I had to, like, change between my costumes at one point, like, really quickly. But we basically used, like, the movie version. Like, we literally just played the audio from the movie and then dubbed over the lines. So we didn't actually have to memorize stuff, which helped a lot for me. It was very much more accessible. And we did, like, dress rehearsal and everything, and it was one of the very first things that my dad had, like, attended. That might sound kind of awful, but I mean, it was one of the only extracurriculars I had ever gotten to do in school as a kid. Because I didn't have the transportation, people couldn't drive me to and from, like, soccer. People couldn't bring me to, like, after-school parties. Like, it was always, like, I had to miss out on so much. But, luckily, this was the one time that my dad managed to get me to each one of the practices and was very much present. In one of the previous frames, my dad actually helped build a lot of the set, which was really cool, because my dad was a contractor, so he knew how to build, like, little houses and stuff. So, like, he built us a fake house. We ended up bringing Wild Child's little Chevy as, like, we ended up, like, making, like, props for it to make it look like a fake tractor, and, like, we ended up doing a lot of cool stuff, and my dad was a huge part of this play and helped it really come to life. It was really amazing that he was there. The whole point of this episode is that I really want to touch on the fact that this is one of the very few times my parents showed up for me in a huge way. Because I literally missed my last line. Like, I literally missed lip-syncing my last line, and I remember my heart fell to my toes when I realized it. Because there was this moment where I completely blanked. Because I was so shocked and focused on the fact that my dad was there. My mom wasn't there, for the record. My dad was there. My dad was there. And he had a bouquet of flowers for me, and he was all dressed up, and he was just so proud of me. And I could see it. Like, he had watched it from the beginning. And, like, I can't explain just how much it meant to me to be seen. I literally remember at the end of the play, I jumped off the stage into his arms. Like, I was so happy to see him. He gave me flowers, and this shot in particular is really important to me because there's an empty seat. Because my mom isn't there. And she never was. She never showed up for me. There was always one person who did, and that was my dad. And this is why it's so important to show up to kids' plays and to show your support. Especially in my circumstance, where it was just so much hardship. It was nice to know I wasn't just my brother's babysitter. It was nice to know I wasn't just, like, a vessel for everybody else's pain and guilt and shame. I wasn't just the scapegoat. I was actually, like, a kid. And it's, like, one of the most important things that's ever happened to me is put on this play and having my family come and support me. Like, I know that sounds like the damn bare minimum. It kind of is the bare minimum. But, like, it meant a lot to me. Like, this was, like, monumental for me. So, very sweet episode. It breaks my heart now. Like, it definitely tore me apart when I was making it. I was crying a lot. Because my dad is not the same person. And it just, it does, the grief is so intense. But I am very grateful nonetheless. I used to have this play on a CD somewhere, but I think it was lost to time. It would have been so cool to go back and watch. I would have loved to have gone back specifically to find the moment where I missed the line, because you can see my face. I go pale. Like, I look shocked because I'm like, oh shoot, I'm on a stage, I'm supposed to be saying lines. Like, I just completely, like, dissociated. And then I came back because I was like, oh shoot, like, I just got so taken aback that my dad was there. Yeah. Seagull, the reason why Blackbird was unmasked in the episode is because, I did draw her with masks that matched the costumes, but it looked really weird. So I was just like, oh, we'll just keep her mask off. It's part of the costume, because technically she's already wearing a costume, so she's not her authentic self anyways. She's wearing a whole spider outfit, so I was like, she's still technically masked. She's still in costume. Like, it's okay. That's why. Good question. Alright, so. Next episode is called Trampoline. We have like a couple of really happy ones sprinkled about here, because you know, sometimes you just really need that. Sometimes you just really need to focus on the good things in the world, and so that's what we're going to do for the next few little episodes of Persona here. Trampoline is all about how I would spend my summers as a child. In sunny old Florida. I'm from Florida. Yes, yes, you might hear the southern twang in my voice every now and then. This shot is so funny to me. Basically, my dad did this. We basically would have these Gatorades, like these big Gatorade bottles, like 2 liters, right? And when we were done drinking them, we'd fill them back up with sink water and put them in the freezer, and then put the frozen Gatorade bottles in front of fans so it would blow extra cold air on us. Like, this is the most Floridian thing ever. But you literally would just put frozen, like, bottles of stuff in front of fans and it would just blow cold air on you, like, as if you were in the freezer. It was so lovely. And we would do that a lot. Or we would just take the frozen bottles and throw them in the swimming pool so they would, like, cool down the pool because it was so hot. The water was literally like bath water. So we'd have to take, like, frozen, like, things and throw them in the pool just to cool it down a little bit. Oh, man. It was such a good time. But yeah, I loved that shot. And then, of course, we had a swimming pool. But apparently that wasn't enough for my dad. My dad was literally, like, insane. He just got us a trampoline one day. He's just like, yeah, okay, cool. We have, like, an entire playground. We have, like, a swimming pool. We have all this stuff. Yeah, trampoline. We want a trampoline. We don't have that yet. Like, I think he was just going on the top 10 lists of most fun childhood things, and he was like, alright, we can't build a treehouse, but we're gonna do a trampoline. Like, I begged him for a treehouse forever. We never got one. So sad. But trampoline, oh, so much better, dude. It was, like, such a sizable trampoline. And I think this is kind of the important imagery in the background of this episode, is that I spent most of my childhood jumping up and down on couches, right? Like, I was, like, very much an energetic, wild child. And, my mother would scream and yell at me and be like, get off my new leather! Rawr, rawr, rawr! You know, never wanted us to have any kind of fun. Her house is a museum. But then my dad saw us jumping on the couch at his house and said, hey, here's a whole trampoline! Go crazy, right? He just saw what we were doing and was like, oh, I see, you just want to jump. You just want to bounce around. Here's a trampoline, you know? Like, man's actually looked at it from a logical perspective, unlike my mother, who was just like, you're just out to ruin everything I've worked so hard for! Like, it's really amazing what mental health can do to you. Like, this is the difference between mentally stable and unstable parents. Cause, like, yeah, all that we really wanted was something to get our energy out with, and, like, my dad was absolutely right. Like, all we wanted was a trampoline. We lived on that thing after that. Our neighbors would come over, or, like, really not great neighbors would come over and complain to my dad and be like, you're spoiling them, blah, blah, blah. And this is a direct quote from my dad. Like, this quote right here is a direct quote. Every time people would come over and complain about our yard being a mess, because we had baseball bats, we had toy cars, and bikes, and scooters, and beach balls, and play sets, and all of this crap in our yard, right? Because we lived outside, like, we love being outside. My dad would be like, it's lawn art. That's my lawn art. It's beautiful. It proves that I have children and that they're happy and that they're living their best lives. Like, my dad was never ashamed that, like, we had so much random crap in our yard, even though our neighbors got so sick of bringing over, like, random things that would blow over in the wind, like beach balls and crap and floaties from the pool. He used to call it lawn art, and I think that that's, like, the most beautiful freaking mindset ever. Like, he just always wanted to be a dad, and it just proves it right there. And this is me and my brother playing popcorn. If you've ever played that on the trampoline, it's where one person balls themselves up and holds their knees, and the other person jumps and tries to get them to like, let go of their knees and pop open, like a piece of popcorn. So we play popcorn a lot. But my favorite thing was hooking up this water hose. We hooked up the water hose and it would make the trampoline bounce even higher. It was like literally such a freaking health risk. I don't know how we didn't break anything. It's kind of incredible that we never got hurt on the trampoline. But then we decided to make it even better and dump a bunch of dish soap onto it and make a crap load of bubbles on the trampoline, and it was so slippery and dangerous. Genuinely, again, don't know how none of us got hurt. But it's kind of amazing and incredible. But it was the best memories ever, was jumping on that soapy, watery trampoline and then jumping into the pool afterwards. Oh man, so much fun. But the trampoline had many purposes, right? Yes, it was great for outdoor fun, but we also would have some really fun anime role plays where we would pretend to be different characters. And yes, this is Soul Eater. For everybody who guessed, yes, this is Soul Eater. It's one of my favorite animes, still is to this day. And you haven't met the character on the left yet, but that is going to be coming up very soon in year 12. You will meet Bluebird. But yeah, we used to roleplay on there, and Parker's gonna tell you all about it. Because Parker's the biggest anime nerd, and I love that very much. Some people wanted to comment about Parker's teeth missing. It's a long story, but basically my canines got removed when I was in my teens, like 17 or so. Because I still had my baby teeth and they were not. My adult teeth were just not coming down. So I got my canines removed. My baby canines removed when I was in Parker's era, so I have some gaps. If they look similar to Wild Child's, it's because they are. I just like drawing them that way. Wild Child technically lost all the other teeth except the canines. Just to set the record straight, because people care a lot about the details in Persona Project, and, yeah, just sometimes it's that deep and sometimes it's not, but just this one instance where it actually kind of is, so there you go. We'll learn more about Parker's anime lore later. Obviously, Parker will tell you about it, but I think it's really funny that Blackbird looks up to Parker and is like, wow, that's cool! Like, it's just so cute. Alright. Moving right along comes a interesting episode that I didn't originally write to be at all, like it is. I had a very different script at first. And I think I'm gonna tell you, like, exactly what it used to be like. Because it's really cool, how much I changed it because of the response of posting it online and, like, you guys having a whole lot of different comments helps me be like, oh, okay, maybe I should clarify certain things. Oh, man. So the next one's gonna be about, a cruise. Another one. As you can tell, I've got cruise trauma. Which sounds really privileged, because, like, I mean, it kinda is, but also at this stuff at the same time. You know my life at this point, it's very nuanced. But, like, basically, my grandparents wanted to take us on an extravagant, like, family vacation, which is a very common theme in Persona Project. If you can't tell already, some of the ways that they would deal with, not being great people was that they would give us gifts or make us look good on the surface. Like, oh, but we take you on cruises, we take you on vacations, you know, instead of providing us with, like, food, water, and clothes, right? So, that's what this episode is kind of about. my nanny announced we're going on a cruise, and me and my brother kind of reacted terribly. We were very scared because the last time we went on a cruise, or tried to, the ship left without us with all of our stuff on it, and we never got it back, kind of deal. So we weren't really thrilled about this. And my brother wasn't thrilled about it at all, because my brother was definitely not having it with his Taiki almost being lost and everything. So this is an important episode because I rewrote it to include a segment where Blackbird and I connect on a more personal level. Because, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I used to not like Blackbird. I used to really dread this era. Because I had a hard time connecting to my preteen self. And understanding her and being like... I used to just literally look at her like, yep, she's the problem. She's the root of all my problems. This is where all my worst traits are. This is where everything wrong is. It's Blackbird. It's Blackbird. It's Blackbird. And like... honestly, I've come to realize it's not, obviously. Oh, Raven Nightshade! Thank you, dude!
Hi, Hawley. Just popping in to give some fries money. My fries for the week are smiley fries.
Yes, dude! And it actually puts fries into the bowl now. Isn't that so cool? It's so perfect. Thank you so much, Raven. Oh my god, it's good to see you, dude. As per usual. But yeah, guys, I was just not a big fan of Blackbird. Before I started Persona Project, I used to really resent this kid. I used to be like, God, she's such a brat, da-da-da-da, like, I used to just be so mean about it. And when I started Persona Project and worked with Wild Child, I was like, oh wow, I'm finding that when I come to my inner children with, like, this gentleness, and I come to them with, like, hugs and things that they'd never had before, it was received pretty well, except for Blackbird. She's kind of different. Because in previous episodes, you've seen me try to comfort her, and she screams at me like, don't baby me! And so now I have a completely different approach, where now I'm just gonna get on her level. I'm gonna be sassy right back. I'm gonna be sassy with her. I'm gonna say, yeah, frick these stupid idiots! Like, and we're just gonna be angry. Because Blackbird is my anger. She is my anger. And so now that I've learned to accept anger as an emotion that I use regularly, and now that I have accepted that I'm allowed to be angry, I can finally connect to her. It is so cathartic. And so, this episode is kind of about Blackbird learning to trust me. And she learned to trust me through the episode Maple Tree, which was where Blackbird became aware of the trickster and how heavy of a burden it is to be depressed and anxious. And she listened to me in that moment. She realized that I was right. And ever since then, you can see a shift in, like, how me and Blackbird interact, because now she's coming to me asking me about things that she's confused about. She's like, hey, we're going on cruises, we're getting trampolines, we're getting Wii games, we're doing all this fun stuff, but how come we're selling the houseboat? How come we don't have food? How come Dad always has beer? Nothing makes sense. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. And I decided to talk to her more in depth about it because I couldn't do that with Wild Child. And she's different. She's older. She has a whole different perspective. So then I kind of explain, yeah, like I would to an adult because I treat her like enough respect like she is an adult. She was absolutely parentified to be almost like an adult already. And there was no reason to talk down to her or hide things like I had to do with Wild Child. Which is sad in its own way, but it fits for me. I feel like I'm doing a lot of healing for her because I'm able to say, yeah, our parents sucked with money, and just explain it in a way that I would explain it to my friend. And be like, hey, we know our house was on fire, we know Mom was evil, we know Dad had a problem with beer, but then they would cover that up by being like, no, here's a brand new TV, here, oh, we only get name brand stuff, and oh, here's a cruise, but don't tell anybody that your clothes are full of holes, and don't tell anybody that you're starving to death, because we take you on cruises. So that's kind of like the duality of that neglect. And Blackbird is just so confused, being like, aren't they hungry? What's going on? And I'm like, yeah, they were hungry, but they're mentally ill. They don't understand that what they are doing was causing such harm to us because they're too busy harming themselves. And, like, that's what neglect is all about. Neglect is the fact that they couldn't provide the bare necessities, but went out and wasted their money on extravagant things for the looks of it all. It was all a presentation. It was a mask in their own right. And so I had a lot of guilt going on this cruise because I was having these horrible, like, feelings of, like, but I should be happy. I'm so lucky. Everybody says I'm so lucky to go on a cruise, and I'm so, like, blessed and privileged, and, like, I don't feel that way. I feel sad and scared because I knew as soon as we got back home, we were gonna have a horrible struggle. We would pay for it in being hungry. And it was just really sad. And yeah, this is what the episode was originally going to be about. It was just going to be like, yeah, we went on a cruise and we went swimming and we got ice cream and, like, we went to fancy dinners and I got to dress up in a big pretty dress. And we got, like, towel animals that were made for us, like, by, like, the custodians. Every time we left our room, they made towel animals. And then, like, we got to go and, like, explore a different country and stuff. And then I realized, no, that's not really what happened. Yeah, we did that, but I remember coming home and having a mental breakdown because I knew that we were just gonna have a horrible time. Because all of our money was spent on that trip. Like, I remember my dad, this exact shot of my dad getting overpriced alcohol on the cruise ship was stressing me out at 10 years old. I remember looking at that and going, oh no, we're not gonna have groceries when we come home. Like, that was my first thought. It wasn't, oh, okay, Dad's just, you know, enjoying his vacation or whatever. It was, oh no, that money, we need that money. What is he doing? Like, it was so stressful for me. Like, it was not even fun. Because I was, like, already, like, parentified and scared of, like, our financial situation. And it was so unfair. And this is one of the first times, like, Blackbird hugs me. Because, like, we finally reached an understanding. And this is a really important episode. And I know a lot of people go through this. Like, I know that I'm not alone in this experience. Because a lot of people can attest to saying, oh yeah, every time my parents threw a fit, they'd buy me a present. You know, it'd be, like, the same energy where it's like, oh, we're just gonna cover up the bad stuff and dissociate. And we're just gonna make it look good on the surface, and you're not allowed to complain because I brought you into this world, and blah blah blah. All of these really horrible toxic things. Like, you're not alone, man. Like, this is, it's so complex, and I'm so happy to be able to talk about it, because it is so much more than, oh, my childhood was good or my childhood was bad. It's, like, always nuanced. Like, it's not just good or bad. Like, it is so complex. Especially when you have levels of trauma like I do. Alright, the next episode, I do have to put out a fair warning. This is about to get very rough. This one is about Candy. This is about my dad's girlfriend for the rest of Blackbird's era. And this is the beginning of, like, the end of the happiness. Like, I'm not even kidding you. Like, year 11 is destroying me from the inside out. Like, it is devastating. It is really, really hard to work on. I literally have to take such long breaks in between stuff. But this episode is gonna be talking about a lot of different things. Anywhere from hoarding situations, so that includes, you know, animal feces and urine, that includes broken glass, that includes trash, that includes cigarettes, drugs, alcohol, just lots of clutter, dirtiness, filth, all that good stuff. I survived a hoarding situation, and this is where the hoarding situation started. This is where it began. Bear with me here. This is a rough one. So, we used to have every other day go to my dad's house, and I remember for a while we would go there, and we would stop dead in our tracks, because we would have some kind of indicator that Candy was there. And we already knew her. We kind of met her, like, here and there. We knew we did not like her. She was kind of cuckoo bananas. And so, I remember distinctly she had this horrible perfume that would literally taint the entire house. It was just so strong and awful. And that's how we knew she was there. We'd be like, oh, Candy's been here. Dad can't hide this from us. As much as he tried. We don't like her. And instead of having a conversation about it with us, instead of my dad sitting down and being like, hey, what don't you like about my partner? Like, what makes you uncomfortable? Blah, blah, blah. You know, like, what's maybe, I don't know, work this out. Instead, he just forced her into our lives and was like, you know what? She's moving in. Done. Like, and it was just so sudden and random because, like, up to this point, my dad didn't, like, date anybody. And if he did, it was very much, like, kept private away from us kids. Because, like, I don't recall, like, many, if not any at all, people prior to this random woman. And I don't know where she came from. I don't know how they met. I don't know any of the details. It was just so sudden and random. It was, like, within, like, 2 weeks or something of even knowing that she existed. It was just like, oh, and now she's here forever. And it was like, holy shit, like, my autistic ass could not handle that, first of all. But second of all, she had so much stuff. So much stuff. And she brought furniture, boxes, all kinds of just garbage into our house. And, like, yeah, we got time to know Jim. And, like, Jim, it was, like, a very much a slow burn with us. Because it was very much like, I was like, I don't trust you. I don't like you. Blah, blah, blah. Because that's how I am with everybody. Because I don't trust anybody. Because why would I with my past? It makes a lot of sense for Blackbird to be so abrasive. And we eventually, like, became really, really close. And I obviously really loved Jim. But with Candy, it was, like, a complete and utter stranger and not a safe person at that. Like, it was very obvious that she was just not a good person from, like, day one. I remember I'd be trying to play Animal Crossing and she'd be so drunk that she would literally just fall over a lot. Like, she would literally, like, stumble over stuff and just, like, lay on the floor. Like, she was, like, that wasted. It was really awful. And also, she barely wore clothes. Like, I couldn't really do much justice in showing this, like, on YouTube without getting completely and utterly destroyed by demonetization. But no, she, like, was kind of a nudist, and that sounds insane, but she literally did not like wearing clothes, and, like, let me just tell you, it was not pretty. It was horrifying. I'm scarred for life. I literally, oh my god, you don't even want to know the things that I saw. Just trust me. She's disgusting. And I don't know what my dad saw in her. I really truly don't. Like, you can ask me all day long, yeah, why? I'll be like, I don't fucking know. Like, I can't tell you, man. I don't know. I don't know. There's nothing I can give you an answer for as to why. All I know is that this happened, period, and I have to live with it, because I did not have control over this at all. And, of course, she was obviously a heavy alcoholic as well, and influenced my dad in horrible ways to be even more of an alcoholic than he already was. She did come with at least a bonus. She did bring some cute dogs into my life. Taco and Cheech, they were Chihuahuas. Just to clarify, Taco was not a Chihuahua. He was absolutely a Corgi, that's all. PSA. They just thought he was a Chihuahua because they have no brain cells. But, the main thing I want to talk about is I don't want to add to any stigma, right? Like, full disclosure, Candy had bipolar disorder, right? She was bipolar, and she wasn't acting the way she was because of bipolar disorder. Get that out of your head right now. She was acting the way that she acted because she was on bipolar medication, and she was mixing it with alcohol and drugs.
Plop. Here's some more fries money.
Oh, thank you, Tyler! Thank you for the fries money. And they were actually french fries. Isn't that so cool? Gave me smiley fries. But yeah, not feeding into any bipolar stigma or anything like that. I don't like boiling people down to their mental health disorders. That's kind of awful. We should never do that. Even on my mortal enemy, I do not wish it, alright? I have the grace, I have the humbleness, I have a lot more maturity than some people may. And I just want to clarify once again that I am not blaming anything that happens in this story of mine, alright? Anything that occurs in Persona Project that you see, it is not a product of her bipolar disorder. It is a product of her taking the medication that she's supposed to be having to help with that, and mixing it with things that you should not. And it made her absolutely unhinged. Like, it made her so just bad. Like, I can't even find words to describe just how bad it was. So yes, she would do this, and it made her really, really scary. This shot is foreshadowing to something that will happen in year 11. And I'm not gonna elaborate. You can pretty much, you could just guess. You don't really need to know right away. You'll get the full episode. Just trust me. So the worst part about all this is that with Candy's awful behavior and all of her hoarding and everything, no matter how much we would complain to my dad, no matter how much we'd tell my dad, like, hey, she's doing this thing, please help us, we don't like this, help, my dad just did not care. Anytime Candy was especially drunk, or delusional, a little crazy, anytime she was, like, going off the deep end, my dad would just call it Candyland. It would be, oh, Candy's in Candyland, just ignore her. Or, yeah, that's Candyland, we're all in Candyland, we're stuck on this crazy ride at Candyland. Very dismissive, very dissociative, very much like, whatever. Very much not my problem. Which became my problem, obviously, because what the hell, I'm not just gonna stand for that, I'm not just gonna take her being a threat, at all. And this is a exact quote, unfortunately. Most of my life, due to the neglect that I faced, I had the same clothes, like, my entire life. Like, I still have a pair of shorts, to this day, that I can fit into from Blackbird's era. I am not even shitting you. I have 15-year-old pants that I can still fit into. Okay? Like, it's crazy. Like, I had clothes from, like, Wild Child's era, right? And I was, like, obviously a fast-growing kid. But I never got clothes that fit me. And so a lot of my shorts were really, really short and tiny on me. And obviously that's not great for kids. Obviously that was really fucking horrible, and my parents should be ashamed of themselves for letting me walk around like that. But I think the more horrifying layer to that is that the adults preyed upon that. The adults that they brought into my life preyed upon that. And Candy was definitely a sicko weirdo. And she would comment a lot about my clothes being too small, and that I'm showing too much skin, and that I'm, quote, showing my whole hoo-ha. So, to the point where that became my nickname. She would just call me hoo-ha, by the way. She'd be like, what are you doing, little hoo-ha? Like, what? Like, genuinely, what? Like, she is one of those people where it's just like, you can't reason with her. There is no rhyme or reason. There is no understanding this person. It is just, you are kind of bonkers, and get away. And so, yeah, this is the kind of people that the adults would bring into my life, and this is what my home became. Cardboard boxes, dogs, trash, everything. My whole life fell apart because one person came into it that should never have been brought into my world. And this has affected me for my entire life from this point on. This person caused that much damage. Okay? This person and her misuse of medication, this person and her misuse of alcohol, this person and her drug use, this sick individual completely ruined my life. My life that was already kind of low-key ruined, by the way. So this is the beginning of the end. And I don't really have much to say other than I'm just really sorry for myself and you all that are going to have to now sit through and watch it unfold. I've already lived through it once, but there's gonna be something extra hard about telling it again now that I'm out of it. Because it's just so hard to believe sometimes that it's real. It is really terrible. And yeah, it's just, like, I don't really want to talk too terribly much about it, but yeah, just Candy was awful, and this is just the beginning, unfortunately. Like, this is, as soon as I made this episode, my brother texted me and said, I'm not watching any more episodes, just so you know, and I said, yeah, that's fine. That's how you know. He thought the trampoline episode was amazing, and then he saw that Candy was in the picture, and he said, I can't do this anymore, and I said, that's fine. So, it's one of those things where I've had it buried in my chest for my entire life, and it's nice to get it off my chest and to know that it's real and that I survived and all of that good stuff, but it is horrible, so do please be careful when watching some of these episodes. Like, it is so much. Like, it is just like, it is heavy as hell, and it's real. I think that's kind of the worst part, is that it's just like my real life. Like, it's like, oh my god, like, this is like a real thing. Alright, the next episode is not much happier. This is, I mean, I guess it has some happier undertones, right? Because, I get a puppy. But the reason why I get the puppy is kind of not great, right? So, this episode's titled Muffin. This is about my little chihuahua I got. I got a teacup chihuahua named Muffin. So, Muffin was this little chihuahua I got as, like, I call it severance. Basically, my dad knew that we hated Candy, and that nothing he could do would make it up to us. We were pissed. The ever-loving fuck off. I mean, I wonder why. We were being terrorized. And so, he decided, oh, here, I'll make up for it. Here's a puppy. And I was told directly by Candy that this was my dog, and that nothing would ever happen to her, which is really weird to state, by the way. Like, right off the bat, like, why would you feel the need to say that unless you intended on stealing my dog? Like, why would you feel the need to say, oh, she's 100% yours no matter what, over and over and over and over again, unless you know you're gonna steal my dog? Yeah, anyways. This dog was given to me as a, oh, sorry, we know you're not happy, please just shut up, please just take this. Interestingly, there's one little frame here you can catch, that I didn't really make very apparent. When Blackbird is talking about Bandit, you can see, very lightly, that the scar is there. From when I got attacked by a dog. Because that was the last time I got a puppy, is when I got attacked by a dog. And my dad's like, oh, don't worry about that, this is a new dog, focus on the new dog, focus on the new dog. Which I did. And I fell wholeheartedly in love with this dog, Muffin, who I would make little sweaters out of socks for. I would literally sew little sweaters for her. She was so little, you could take a, like, adult-sized, like, fuzzy sock and turn it into a little jacket for her. She was that little. I used to make music videos with her. Like, I used to do, like, Katy Perry music videos with my dog. It was so funny. And she would help me during, like, my anxiety attacks. She would help me with my autism meltdowns. Like, she was a really big support for me. Despite her being there solely for the purpose of, please don't be mad at us. I mean, it was still, like, a really positive thing for me. Because this dog hated Candy. And I thought that was really funny. She genuinely protected me from the evils in my own house. Like, that dog slept on my chest. Like, it was, like, the most comforting thing for me, was to have my little dog with me. And Blackbird was obviously traumatized over losing all my pets in the past. I was terrified it would happen again. And this is where the avoidant personality disorder comes into play, because it was heavily dissociative. It was very much like me being like, oh yeah, who cares that Candy's here? I have Muffin now, and nothing's ever gonna happen to her. And it's mine no matter what, and I'm not gonna let anything happen. I obviously have control. And it's very much like a distorted reality that I was living in, which I was used to living in, by the way, because my reality was always distorted from the moment I was born. And so this is me making a feeble attempt of saying, hey, Blackbird, you're being dissociative. And... oh, goodness.
Hi, it is me, Mal again.
Hello.
Mal, I have a question again.
Yes.
I know polka dots represent anxiety in Persona Project.
Yes.
But I noticed that Figment is instead covered in stripes.
Yes.
Do stripes represent dissociation?
Yes.
If not, what do they represent?
They do represent dissociation. Good job! I love you guys. You guys pick up on all my little details. It's so wonderful. It is so cool to have an audience that is so wonderful when it comes to attention to detail. So thank you guys so much for picking up on that, Mal. That's amazing. Yes. It does have the dissociativeness to it. Sometimes I'll even draw, like, my trickster with the stripes, because I do associate it with a more, like, depressive or dissociative emotion. Because, like, the patterns on the trickster can and will change. Sometimes they become zigzags and stuff. Very symbolic. Very good. Good eye. But yeah, this is my first attempt to kind of open up Blackbird's eyes and be like, hey, you know that they're gonna take that dog from you. You know that that dog's not really yours. You know that they're just trying to distract you. That Candy's still here. That the hoarding is going on. That the drugs and alcohol are still being abused. Like, you know that all that stuff is going on. But you can't ignore that. Like, look at what you're feeding, and like, obviously, like, Figment changes into different forms. Figment's a little shapeshifter. He can be anything from, like, a sunshine to a cloud to a storm, like, all kinds of little, like, weather-like symbolism. And it's interesting how Figment will try to put on a happy face for Blackbird, because that's kind of the avoidant personality. And so Figment definitely is there as, like, a coping mechanism, because a lot of people with their personality disorders develop as a means of a coping mechanism that later in life typically becomes maladaptive and isn't helpful anymore. So for me, it was helpful at the time to just believe that Muffin was mine, that everything was great, and that even though Candy's here, at least I have a dog now and I have a companion and blah blah blah, and like, it's almost looking on the bright side of things to a really extreme level. And this is really, really prominent in Hawley's era. Like, what I'm talking about, where I'm like, hey, this level of dissociation will hurt you in the long run, because Hawley is the most dissociative out of all of us. Hawley and Figment are like best friends, man. They're gonna be best friends. And Blackbird is a little bit in denial of that. And I don't expect Blackbird to understand or really, like, change or anything. Obviously, she's my inner child. There's not much of that going on. But I think it is important that I look at my inner preteen and be like, hey, the reason why this hurt you so bad is because you were living in that fantasy world they wanted you to. It's not your fault that it hurts so bad. This is just the coping mechanism that they set you up with. It's not your fault that this is going to hurt so bad in the future. Like, I just want to make sure that Blackbird knows it's not her fault. That the dog, yes, I do lose the dog. The dog is taken from me. Like, this is inevitable. And I always kind of knew, deep down, that that would happen. And so, it's not Blackbird's fault, though. Like, that's what I was trying to get across to her, in this episode here. Because a lot of my work with my personas and, like, looking inward is just finding out who is at fault for certain things, because I always assume that everything's my fault. Because I've been conditioned to think that everything's my fault. And oftentimes it's not. And it's a really good thing to know, to go back and look at myself and say, hey, actually, they set me up for failure. They told me my entire life, like, all of these different lies and things, so lying to myself, of course, feels normal. And, like, of course it hurt twice as bad. It hurt so bad when, like, everything inevitably came crashing down and reality seeped its way in to my fantasy, like. But, like, what else did I know? I didn't know anything else. So it's more or less not blaming myself, and remembering where I even learned that coping skills to begin with is really important. If you struggle with a personality disorder, you probably understand where I'm coming from. There's so much stigma around it, and everybody tends to think, oh, it's your fault. It's your fault if you're narcissistic. It's your fault if you're, like, borderline personality. It's your fault if you're avoidant personality, and, like, bipolar, and it's not. It's maladaptive coping, something that we developed a long time ago that takes a very long time to undo, because it's a personality, it is a core part of who you are, and undoing all of that is like literally unraveling your identity. It is very difficult. So instead of giving people with personality disorders an even harder time than they're already having, let's let go of some stigma. I hope, just by being me, I hope that you're able to see that avoidant personality is far different than what you might hear about on TV. It is super different, and it is a lot less my fault than people give it credit for. I still take accountability for who I am, and I do work to change, and I do recognize and see the patterns, which is very important with anybody with any kind of mental health. It is important to manage it, and, you know, care for yourself and heal, and I feel that that is the best that I can do. And a good step in that is to not blame myself any worse than I already have taken the blame for things that were not my fault. Yeah, sorry, the computer noise went crazy, I don't know why. It's just, again, new setup, gonna be a little weird. Alright, so the next episode is called Intuition. I just want to give you a fair warning. This is the first time I ever had a panic attack. This episode is gonna feature a lot of kind of upsetting and very sad, undertones, lots of topics that are sad, and visuals of me having a panic attack and things, so just be warned. So, basically we were gonna go out boating one day. Dad said we're going boating, and we said cool. We got all ready, got our swimsuits on, we got ready to go, and then we heard thunder in the background, and we were like, uh-oh, and then it started raining, and then Dad said, yep, we're not going boating after all, it looks like crappy weather after all, and we went, aw, darn. So then we went to go play some Webkins in my room, because we got the little old computer in there, playing Webkins. And then, like, in the middle of us playing Webkins, my dad's like, hey, the boat's leaving, we're going. And I was like, what? What do you mean? Like, it's raining, it's, like, storming. And, like, I had noticed, I was like, dude, you're, like, drunk. Like, my dad was already drinking, because we were already set on, you know, staying at home. We weren't going anywhere. And so my dad had started drinking, because he knew he wasn't gonna drive. Because luckily, at least my dad didn't, like, drink and drive, thank God. But, like, I distinctly remember everyone being in my bedroom. And I was like, hey, I don't know if this is a good idea. I've got a bad feeling about something. And Candy was calling me, like, names. Like, she was, like, cursing at me and calling me names and being like, don't be a little wimp. Oh, it's just a little rain. What, do you hate having fun? You know, like, guilt-tripping me because I didn't want to go out in the middle of a storm with my drunken adults on a boat. That sounds like a disaster. Like, God forbid I say no to something also, by the way. Like, I feel like I should have had the autonomy to say no if I didn't want to do something. It was kind of weird they were forcing me. And so, like, they shamed me, and, like, I remember my dad was, like, very much, like, an angry alcoholic. Like, he was an emotional alcoholic, so, like, he would either cry a lot or be, like, really mad. And so he was, like, oh my god, like, he was so angry. I remember him slamming stuff and hearing him through the walls being like, you're just like your mother. You don't trust me. You don't love me. And, like, all of this really extreme stuff, and, like, I know this might feel, like, completely out of nowhere, considering a few episodes ago my dad was, like, my my closest parent. He took me to the play. He showed up for the play, blah, blah, blah. That's just kind of how this stuff goes. Like, when it comes to, like, family systems of, like, trauma and abuse, it is not just, like, linear, I guess. Like, it's just, like, yes, my dad showed up to the play and everything, but he was also still doing shit like this. Like, it was still happening. Like, he was still being an alcoholic behind the scenes. Like, it wasn't just every now and then. These were just some of the most extreme cases. Consider that the alcoholism is something that is constantly going on as well, because it was. And it might seem a little out of nowhere that he acts this extreme towards me, but honestly, this was becoming more and more and more and more frequent. And so, I remember this was a big coping mechanism for me, was to go under my bed. I've done this a lot. You can see it start in Wild Child's era, where, like, one time I called 911 by accident and my nanny chased me under the bed. I find a lot of comfort with being under the bed. It sounds very much like I'm an animal, and that sounds really sad. But yes, I do find myself wanting to hide when I'm in extreme circumstances, whether that be locking myself in my room, going under my bed, going under blankets, hiding, like, physically hiding, like, is safe and comforting to me, and that's part of my avoidant personality disorder. And I remember going under my bed and crying, having my panic attack, and so I thought about it. I was like, if I could go, like, time travel into that moment, what would I have told myself? What would I have said to her? How would I have comforted her? And I was like, you know what? That was just my intuition. That was my ability to stay alive. Like, that was, like, the strongest, most innate, most powerful human instinct in the world that I was fighting tooth and nail for, that I stood up for. I stood up against my abusers and said, no, that's monumental. This kid's amazing. And so I was like, Blackbird, you saved literally all of the— first of all, you saved your own life, which in turn saved all of us, our arrows and everything. But, like, you also saved your brother. You probably saved Dad, too. You probably saved everyone involved, because, like, that was probably going to be a whole disaster. And, like, your intuition is something that you need to trust, and, like, it has kept us alive throughout all of our eras. Like, every single time my gut tells me something, I'm like, Blackbird. All I think about is Blackbird now. Where I'm like, ooh, I have a gut instinct about something. I'm like, yeah, Blackbird's trying to tell me something. Blackbird's trying to keep me alive. Blackbird's right. And I trust her so much. Because yeah, these people weren't safe. They were terrible. And she protected us. Like, she's amazing. Like, I don't call her a hero for nothing. She really is a little hero, man. 10 years old and stood up to people and said no and put her foot down and protected people. She was more reasonable than the adults in, like, 9 out of 10 scenarios. And so the trickster, you know, was probably there at the time. I imagine being like, you're an awful person. You made Dad really mad. You made Dad slam doors. You canceled the fun boat day. You're sick in the sand. Blah, blah, blah. You know, putting all those negative thoughts into my head. And now I'm putting the positive ones back. I'm replacing what was once there with a hug, a comfort, and reassuring her that she did the right thing. 'Cause she did. And so, that was this entire episode called Intuition. And this is all about trusting your gut, listening to yourself, believing in yourself, fighting for yourself, and how important it is. Because it can and will save your life. You should always stand by yourself in your decisions. If your instincts are to say no, listen to it. If you say no the first time, don't bend. Don't go back and think. Don't reconsider. Really, really, really listen to yourself, man. If your first instinct is, no, I don't want to do that, you really don't want to do that. I promise you. So this is all about that. I thought this was a really important episode, because I used to think I was a really bad person for ruining our fun day like this. I really thought I really was just like my mom. I really thought I was awful, but in reality, I was a hero. And I thought that was really amazing of Blackbird. And I really like highlighting the good things that she does, because throughout all of this terribleness, I really was a resilient kid. Alright. So, let's dive into a more happy, like, set of episodes, okay? Let's cool it on the sadness, right? Because I like to do things in little batches. I like to go, okay, whoa! Computer, relax. Computer is not relaxing. And it's okay, guys. I know, like, the sad things seem, like, really intense and, like, really bad, but they were, 15 years ago now, and I have since done a lot of healing, and I've been doing really good, so I'm okay now, but it is important to recognize that these things were real and that they did happen. Okay. So, on to some of the happier episodes. Let's do that for a little while. This is a really unique one to me, in my experience. So, my teacher, Mr. Crow, incredible man, made a life simulation game, like, from scratch. Like, this man just made his own game that we would play every Friday. It was, like, our big Friday event. It was so much fun. We'd basically run, like, economics in our class. And I thought that was, like, really important to learn as a kid. Because it made me a lot more self-aware going into, like, high school. Because you think that that's something that you have to learn in, like, middle school or high school or even college. But, like, learning as early as elementary school was very beneficial to me. And so Jim was a huge helper in this. He would help me understand economics because Jim was, like, a business owner. So, like, he knew what was going on. And so he was, like, my biggest advisor. And I would end up, like, selling all kinds of stuff in class, and we had Monopoly money and all kinds of cool stuff. It was basically like we had our own little society, and we had a baby boom and a literal war. It was so funny. The simulation included, like, you know those, like, home economics, like, fake babies that cry and everything? We had those in class, and then we also, like, would take paper balls and, like, pretend to throw them around in, like a simulation of, like, a war and stuff, like, you know, just really putting us through different economic, like, structures. So we went through, like a recession, we went through, like, everything, like, every type of economy we, like, faced, just to show us how different it all was. This episode was a blast to animate, because it was just so fun animating all the background kids doing random stuff, like throwing paper and stuff. And luckily, I didn't have to deal with the baby. I was so #blessed, because, like, I hated babies crying, and I did not want that thing annoying the crap out of me. But everyone else in class, oh no, big yawn. The sun just came out, now I'm yawning, that makes no sense. Anyways. But yeah, all the other kids in class made, like, business partnerships. Whether they were like, oh, 2 people run a business, or, like, 8 people run a business. And, like, I was the only one who didn't want to have a business partnership. I was the sole proprietor. Which made me kind of the odd one out. Because I was like, I don't know anybody. Like, I wasn't close with my classmates. I didn't have friends. And so the cheerleaders made, like, this corporation called Cheer Corp. It was, like, this 8-person, like, giant corporation. And I had my tiny little shop of just me, my dad, and Jim. They were my supporters. They were the ones that were there helping me with my business. And we had to, like, pay money to patent stuff, right? So I paid some money and I patented, like, baked goods and, like, art and stuff. And I would sell my art. I would sell, like, cookies and stuff. So, before Fridays, whoever's house I was at, which was usually my dad's, we would bake cookies and sell them for econology. And our little money currency was actually called chips. And they're like these little transparent plastic coins. I think they were mostly, like, they were supposed to be used for, like, I don't know, like counting stuff, like counting games and stuff. I don't know, but they were like, we used them as money. And I would always sell out my cookies, and I thought this was such a genius idea for Little Blackbird, because it's like, yeah, no child is gonna resist cookies paid for by fake money. Like, bro, like, you bring sweets into a classroom, that's all kids are gonna want to eat. Like, Blackbird had that on lock, bro. She was a business genius. And so, like, at the end of the game, I tallied up everything, and, like, I thought I lost, because, like, I didn't make that much money. But then, Mr. Crow was like, you gotta split your earnings with everyone in the business, that's only fair. So CheerCorp ended up being, like, last, because they actually were in debt, because they couldn't pay all of their employees. It actually was kind of hilarious. It was just such an amazing feat of, like, justice. It was beautiful, because they were so evil. And I ended up winning. It's, like, one of the very few things in my life I've ever won. Like, I don't win things. Like, I don't have that. But unless there's, like, skill involved, I don't win things, right? Like, raffles and stuff, forget it. I've never won a raffle in my life, and I never will. Like, I just know that about myself. But, like, when it comes to earning things, I earn them. I fight really hard. I can win at things if there's skill involved. And, like, it was a huge lesson for me as, like, a small business owner that, like, the smaller it is, the more you can benefit the people that are in it. Because if you have too many, it obviously isn't going to reach everyone. And that's just, like, a basic economic thing that I now apply to everything. People are always like, why don't you get more animators? Why don't you get more, like, artists in your studio and blah blah blah. And I'm like, no, dude, I've always done everything myself and I always will. Like, I learned that lesson. And it pays off tremendously. And that way, when it does pay off, I can share the wealth with those who really truly helped me along the way. And I think that that's, like, so important. So much more important than having random strangers that I don't know work for me and stuff. Like, I like to keep things more close-knit, and I really do think it has to do with this winning econology. And a couple people pointed this out. They were like, how come Blackbird, like, didn't believe that she won? And I'm like, okay, well, I've already shown off the fact that Blackbird is very much, like, she thinks she's awesome. She thinks she's the best at everything. And, like, she knows she's not. It's just all a part of that mask of, like, oh, I win every award because I never have to try, because everyone else is a baby, blah, blah, blah. And in reality, I struggled a lot. So when I actually did earn stuff, it was, like, honestly pretty shocking, and it meant a lot to me when I did, because it was, like, I knew what it actually felt like to earn something for once, and, like, fight for it for once. And it was, like, when I did actually, like, achieve things, I was, like, the dissociation would kick in, and I'd find some kind of way to figure out that it wasn't me that caused it. Because I just had some self-worth issues, even back then. But I obviously told her that I can believe it. Because I do. I believe it. I was a smart kid, man. I wasn't gifted for nothing. Like, sure, I struggled in some aspects, but there are things that I excelled in, and I'm very proud of that, and I'm very proud of her. I thought that was amazing, that week one. That was, like, it's the coolest thing ever. Yeah, right, Camellia? Like, sometimes working alone is just better. Sometimes working alone is, like, the way to go. Alright. Next episode is called Boxtown. It's a bit of a sillier one. It's about... The undertones are a little dark, but it's got a little... It's silly at the heart, right? So basically, with all of the hoarding stuff going on, we had lots of boxes piling up, and I was like, you know what would be awesome? Let's take these boxes and let's make an entire town of them, right? Let's take all of them and make box forts. And, like, it became this whole elaborate thing, like a really fun childhood memory of mine, to tape plastic bags to, like, open windows and draw on them with Sharpies, and, like, we made these tunnels that you had to crawl through on your hands and knees just to get into certain buildings. Like, the tunnels went all around the house. It was crazy how elaborate Boxtown was. And, like, we had mailboxes, we made letters, we had currency, we had, like, fake items that we sold in shops. Like, we drew on cardboard, like, milk and, like, bread and fruit, and, like, as if we were getting groceries and stuff. And, like, we would roleplay Animal Crossing mostly. We'd pretend we were different villagers and, like, pretend the peanuts, like, the little styrofoam peanuts were, like, bells, is what we would call them. So, like, we loved our little box town so much, and, like, we literally did not let my dad get rid of them, and it was, like, honestly such a huge inconvenience, because they were goddamn everywhere in, like, large boxes. But it was our way of kind of sifting through trash and making it into treasure, literally. And, like, I just decided it would be kind of extra lighthearted if I had Candy trip on them and complain about them, because she was the one that, like, hated them the most. And then I was like, well, adding some snide little comments, like, it'd be nice if you tripped and died.
I am late but comfort crab money. Also lovely tuber.
Oh, thank you! Thank you, I am Rabbit. It's so nice. Thank you, thank you. Always love to have you, dude. It's always nice to see you. Oh yeah, the PNG tuber is turning out so great. I really love it. But yeah, I just liked poking fun and making fun of her and being mean to her every chance I got. Like, I know it was kind of dangerous to do, but as a kid, I was so, like, resilient. Like, anytime, like, I would just mess with, like, my abusers, I knew I was probably gonna pay for it, but it was just so cathartic in the moment. I would take the risk. It's just like, Blackbird, like, be careful, but it's also like, oh, I know, she's fine. And then looking back on Boxtown, I was like, yeah, it's just a fun little memory, and then I was like, wait, did we build, like, entire box cities just so we could avoid Candy because she couldn't get in? Like, that's actually... that makes sense now, like, like, when you reflect on things from your childhood, right, where you're like, yeah, I used to do this, like, random thing, it was, like, awesome, blah, 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 and then you pause and you're like, wait, why did I do that? Exactly. Oh. Yeah. That makes sense now. Like, it makes sense why I would make an entire house inside of my house. A house where I had control over who was in it. I wonder why I did that, you know? Speaks volumes. With, like, the whole point of a Persona project is, like, self-reflection and really getting the full picture. Alright, the next one is a little, it's, like, silly in a sense, but I do want to forewarn you that we are going to talk about something that was popular at the time. And I'll say it once, I'm not gonna say it again. I really don't want to hear anything about it. I don't have anything nice to say about this, unfortunately. If you happen to like this media, good for you. Keep it to yourself. I don't want to know about it. We're gonna talk about Harry Potter, okay? I don't want to hear much about it. It's just, basically the story is that every girl in my grade gatekept Harry Potter from me, and I wasn't allowed to like it. And so here's how the story goes. There was, lots of instances where I was locked out of certain things where, like, kids would bully me, or kids would just be like, well, you can't like this thing, or you can't say this thing, or you can't do this thing. And I think that's a very common, like, neurodivergent experience, is that, like, you're always outcast for, like, sometimes no goddamn apparent reason. And I remember distinctly one time sitting in the classroom, we were doing reading, and we got, like, a tornado warning, and we were all hunkered down in class, and we were scared. And these two girls next to me were doing, like, what I call the ooh-woo voice, where they're like, I'm scared, I'm super scared, the storm is so scary, you know, like, doing, like, a baby voice, which we used to call the sissy voice back then, I don't know why. Oh, but that's what my school called it. They were like, that's the sissy voice. And so I tried to join them in doing the voice, and then they yelled at me. They, like, yelled at me. They were like, you can't do the sissy voice. Only we can do the sissy voice. And I was like, okay. Like, congratulations. Now you sound like a sissy, you stupid idiot. Like, like, so Blackbird of me to be like, okay, anyways, losers. Like... it's just, ugh. They kept a lot of random things from me, and I wasn't allowed to like things because I just was neurodivergent, and I was hiding that. And this is really important to know, that yes, I got Asperger's diagnosis very, very young. But from, like, Blackbird's era onward, I ignored it. I erased that part of myself. My parents especially erased that part of myself. They would, anytime I would do anything neurodivergent, they would shame me, be like, you're not autistic, don't act like that, blah blah blah, you know, like, they would make me stop acting like myself, like my true authentic self, like neurodivergent. They didn't want to see it, so I hid it. That's the whole point of why Blackbird's wearing a mask. So underneath that mask, I'm autistic. Obviously, that's not just gonna go away just because I'm wearing a mask. And no matter how good I performed, no matter how hard I fought to be normal like everyone else, I just wanted to pretend to be holistic. And I tried so hard. No matter how hard I tried and how close I thought I was getting, they always saw through the mask. Those kids could figure it out immediately that I was different. And like, it was frustrating for me. Because deep down, I was Wild Child. Deep down, I was like this pure, amazing soul who just wanted to create, who wanted to stim, who wanted to just be myself. And I couldn't anymore. It just wasn't acceptable by anyone, by my peers, by my family, no one. And so I struggled because these kids, like, could see that part of me, and it was, like, frustrating because I was trying so hard to hide it. And, like, how do you hide all of these things going on? How do you hide PTSD, depression, anxiety, AVPD, OCD? How do you hide that and autism on top of it? Like, how? You don't. Like, I can try my best. I can do my best, but at the end of the day, it is a mask, and some people see through it. And that was just my reality in 5th grade. I tried to like things that other people liked, and they took it away from me. Literally, the bullies took my books. Like, I'm not even kidding you. And like, I just was kept out of most interests that girls had in my grade, which led to me having some really awesome interests of my own, like Warriors Cats. Like, I got into Warrior Cats and stuff, and like, I ended up writing my own books and making my own stuff. I liked Pokemon. I liked things that, you know, were more acceptable with either the boys of my grade or just nobody. Like, I was just completely on my own in a lot of aspects. And I didn't really have a lot of AFAB friends growing up. A lot of my friends were AMAB. And still are to this day, honestly. Like, it is just like, I just happened to fall into that group. It's a little bit of neurodivergency, it's a little bit of my transness, it's a little bit of everything, my gender identity, all of it playing into this stuff. Because everybody was all excited about this series and its movies and its books and everything. And I just wasn't allowed. And like, I say it, I'm like, thank God. Because like, yeah, thank God, honestly. It ended up being a dumpster fire anyways, so like, I'm glad I was kept out of specifically Harry Potter realm. But enough at the same time, it still hurt, like, when I was a kid, that everyone in the class was doing something that I was not a part of. And luckily, with my resilient self, Blackbird was going, fine, you know what, I'm just gonna double down on being weird then. Since I'm already the weird kid and everybody already hates me, I might as well do what I love. And what do I love? I love cats. So, yes, I doubled down on my weirdness and just decided, frick it, I'm gonna like what I like, and I don't care anymore. And that includes this new book that I found called Warrior Cats, and this is where that's gonna start. I'm gonna do a whole episode on it, don't worry. It's coming in the next year. I just ran out of time with this episode, but trust me, I will do a full episode on Warrior Cats, because I've got a lot to say. I've got a lot to say. Yeah. Crash Zone, exactly. It is a blessing in disguise sometimes. And the isolation is just like I feel like a pretty normal experience for a lot of us. Like, we kind of get the worst of it sometimes, unfortunately. Alright, we're almost like, I think we're pretty much more than halfway done with the year. I'm probably going to take a very, very small break to go to the bathroom very briefly, but then we will continue forward. I'm just going to get it loaded here. Because I've been yapping for a while. Absolutely motor mouthing my way through this. Because the next episode is going to cover a little bit of a more serious topic of a car accident and having to live with my grandparents, which was not fun. So yes, I'm going to take a very brief, tiny break. So please bear with me. I will be right back. Enjoy my new little animated screen. Look how fun. Ooh, you love it so much. Ooh, you're gonna stay on the stream. Ooh, you're gonna watch it. Ooh, you're gonna love it. Aha, I'm back. Jump scare warning. See, I told you to be brief. Okay. Whoop, we'll come right back to our screen. Hello, hello. It's gonna throw all of our french fries in again. I love seeing that. It's gonna break my entire computer. Are you ready? Oh, goodness, get some water. Yay, french fries! Yippee! Thank you guys so much for all the french fries. Okay. Alright, so we are back. And we're gonna finish off this beautiful year 10. I say beautiful. God, it's a little rough. Oh, Blue Streak, you've been a member for 7 months. Let's go, dude. It just don't give me a notification for that. I don't know why. I think you did it an hour ago too or something. I don't know. It says a notification from an hour ago and a minute ago, so just want to congratulate you. That's a beautiful milestone. Alright, so yes, next episode we're gonna talk about is 153, Trans Am. This was about the time that my dad got into a car accident. It was kind of scary to say the least, because I got pulled from class and my teacher, Mr. Crow, was like, hey, your dad was in an accident, you're going home early. Your grandparents are gonna take you to the hospital to go see him. And something really important that my teacher did for me was that he literally told me not to worry about my homework. And I know that sounds like minuscule. I know that sounds like not important. But to me, it just showed how human he was. It just showed how much of a caring person he was. Because he literally, like, saw this like horrible thing going on in my life and was like, the last thing this kid needs is homework, right? Like, he tried to make my life easier in like a really hard moment, and like I appreciate him so much for that. He was such an amazing person for that. Like, it's so wonderful that he was there. I'm so glad he was the teacher that told me, like, for sure. Because yeah, hearing that your dad gets into a car accident is a little world shattering, and I was definitely scared. Because my dad had just gotten a car, a new car, and it was a sports car, and it had like, it was like a convertible, and I think the car brand or something was called the Trans Am. I don't know nothing about cars. All I know is that my dad called it the Trans Am, period. That's all I know. And so it was like this convertible, like, sports car. It was a black car, and it was so cool. We got to drive it a few times, and like, with the top down, and we were like, yay, this is so fun, you know, like, my dad's a fun person. He always was doing fun stuff. And like, with how hard my dad worked, this was like kind of the first thing I've ever seen my dad get for himself. No joke. Like, I'm not even kidding. The entire, like, whoa, program, relax. The entire, like, time I've lived with my dad most of— oh my god, relax! I'm a computer, I'm so sorry. So happens when we used to be YouTubers, they just— the computer goes, what in the world's going on? But my dad just, like, never got stuff for himself. Like, our rooms were painted, our rooms were decorated. He never painted his room. He just had a bed in there. Like, that was it. Like, he never did stuff for himself. And, like, it was just so, like, sad to me that he basically, like, as soon as he got this car, it was wrecked. And it wasn't even his fault. Someone else T-boned him. Like, it was this stupid lady who wasn't paying attention at a stop sign, and she just barreled into him and, like, totaled his brand new car. Like, the only thing he ever got for himself. Like, I don't think I blame my dad for going down the path that he did, because anytime this man tried to do something good, it would just backfire so bad. Like, it just, he's got my luck for real. It's just so sad. Oh.
Pontiac Firebird Trans Am.
Oh, thank you!
The brand is Pontiac to those curious.
Oh, thank you! I never knew that! Wow, that fills a void. Damn, thank you, Tyler! I knew that you would know that. I appreciate that. Yeah, I never knew what kind of car it was, like, my entire life, so thank you. That helps, genuinely. Wow. Oh, thank you for the donut. That's amazing. So yeah, it was just really sucky, and I remember going to the hospital and seeing my dad with his broken foot, and I remember, like, being so distressed, and he was like, it's okay, like, he didn't care, he was like, it's fine, and I was like, no, it's not okay, it's not okay, Dad. And I remember being like, the genetic battle history nerd, why are you so right, though? It was genetic, bro. My luck is fucking terrible. Like, we both had it. Like, it had to have been genetic, man. We just have such terrible luck. Oh, man, it's so fucking funny. That's exactly how I view it. That's exactly how I view it. Thank you. Thank you for meeting me where I'm at with my humor. Thank you, God. But yeah, I was really upset. And then, during recovery, my dad lived at my grandparents' house, and in turn, we lived there too, because somebody had to get us back and forth for custody, and blah blah blah. During that time, we played the GameCube. Notably, we played Super Monkey Ball, which is not even a good game, by the way. It's not even a good game. I don't know why. I don't know why we were obsessed with that game, but we were. And the things that I note the most about the time was our Jolly Rancher obsession, staying with Dad and Nanny and Papa, and missing the hell out of Dad's house, because Dad's house was a freaking playground, man. Dad's house was fun. Aside from Candy being there and, like, all the dirtiness and everything, like, our safe space was still my dad's house, and we were missing it really bad. And my grandparents were really, really strict. Like, obviously, they're like old white people. What the hell do you expect? Like, they're annoying. Homework had to be done before dinner, which meant, yeah, if I had math, if I was struggling with reading, if I was having dyslexia, if I was struggling even a little bit, I literally couldn't eat until I finished it. You don't understand how many times my dinner had to be wrapped up with tinfoil and left in the microwave and just sitting there for hours while I struggled, and then I eventually finish it and then go take my stupid aluminum foil off and then microwave it, because I was never got to have the warm meal with my family. I literally had to sit there and do homework while everyone else around me ate, and I was hungry and I was miserable and crying and I couldn't get my homework done. It just, this sucked a lot more than I got to cover it in the episode. Obviously, I didn't get, like, a whole lot of details, but this sucked ass. The internet was turned off at night, which was fine, because, like, back then we had VHSs and DVDs, we had SpongeBob on TV, like, that wasn't a huge deal. Like, it's not like we had Netflix or YouTube or anything at the time. So, like, the only thing about that sucked was during the day when we wanted to play Neopets or Webkins or something, like, online. We couldn't, which was just sad. And my nanny also really did not like my hair. This is, like, a very strange subject that some people might be able to relate to. She never liked my curly hair. She always wanted my hair to be straight. She was always like, why don't you straighten it? Here's a straightener. Every time I was at her house, she would straighten my fucking hair. And I don't know what is up with that. She just did not like my curls. And she hated them, and she literally would make them so much worse. And she would essentially take, like, a bristle brush and brush out my hair. And if you know anything about curly, thick hair texture, bro, you cannot just take a brush to this. Dry. It will poof out like an afro. Like, no shit. And so she would brush out my hair to the point that it was so poofy and frizzy and gross. Insisting that it looked better that way. Insisting that I shouldn't put it in braids. I shouldn't tie it up. And then I should straighten it or brush it all the way out. And so she was, like, very much controlling over my appearance of, like, my hair. And it was so uncomfortable. I can't tell you how uncomfortable I was going to church and school and all this stuff with my hair looking like complete ass. And, like, also being forced back into dresses. Also being forced to go back to church. Just things I never liked. And, like, you know, my poor brother. That's all I'll say, bottom text, my poor brother. Same deal with him, except he has naturally, like, wavy hair, so his hair is already straight enough that he got the pass. Like, I just got tortured when it comes to my hair. And so, yeah, you can see Blackbird putting her braids back in. She's like, forget this, lady. Because every chance I got, as soon as I got to school, she dropped me off and I put my hair up immediately. I put it up in ponytails, pigtails, braids. I'd put it up because there's no way I'm handling it. Sometimes I'd even go into the school bathroom and just dunk my head under the sink and soak my entire head with water just to get it to stop frizzing up so bad because she would ruin it. She was awful. She was awful. But I think the thing that stuck out to me the most is something that I actually forgot. That my brother remembered. Y'all, it's a rare occasion. Evan remembered something that I didn't. Which is just never happens. Like, my brother never remembers anything. So this was fantastic when he told me this. I told him that I was writing this episode, and he was like, oh my god, yeah. And then Nanny and Papa, like, shamed us over toilet paper. Do you remember that? And I was like, holy shit, no. All I remember is them, like, doing all the other things that I had already mentioned. And he was like, yeah. Like, they would, like, yell at us for, like, drinking soda, or, like, eating dinner, or, like, washing our clothes, or using toilet paper. Like, they would yell at us for everything. And I was like, damn, this shame runs deep, dude. I mean, I knew it was bad, but damn, like, it opened up a whole new perspective. Like, even a basic necessity they shamed us for. Down to, like, toilet paper. And it was just like, wow, that's so sucky, man. And so, yeah, while I was living there, it was a bit of a nightmare. It was like a few months or so we lived there. And, for those that asked, I did get a couple people ask me this. Candy wasn't there. Candy just stayed at my dad's house, rent-free. Candy did not take care of my dad, by the way. Instead of being like, hey, I have a partner who could care for me, my dad knew that that woman could not care for him. Knew that he would be stranded, and we would be stranded because she couldn't drive us places and stuff, and like, he had to stay with my Nanny and Papa specifically because we couldn't rely on Candy, if that tells you anything. So yeah, it's like, this episode shines a little bit of light onto the reason why my father is the way that he is. He's very much like a fun parent because his parents sucked. His parents were very strict and uptight, and very much set in their ways in the worst possible way. And like, it goes to show you why my dad is just so crazy and fun, and how he sought to be everything his parents were not. And he, for the most part, did a very good job of that. And I do appreciate him being more silly and lax and fun than these people, because god, they sucked. I really loved animating all of us, like, being like, oh, at the end of this one, it was really cute. We all are just, like, so sick of Nanny and all of her stupid bullshit. But there was one really amazing blessing that came out of staying at Nanny and Papa's house through this period, and that's the next episode, and that's a Neopet comedy, y'all. We're getting into it. We're getting into the Neopet comedy. This was the first, like, show I produced. It is lost to time, unfortunately. I'm really sad to say. It's gone. I don't have it. It's gone forever, unfortunately. I don't have the means of getting it ever. It was just lost media. But I do plan on I have the action figures and everything. I think I'm gonna try and reenact it one day. I think that that would just be so much damn fun to try and reenact the episodes of Neopet comedy. Maybe hire some voice actors to do like really serious dubs over the action figures and stuff. I think it would be so much fun to try and make again. So don't worry, Neopet comedy isn't going anywhere. I still have it in my head. I remember how it goes. Maybe not word for word, but I'm pretty sure I could get close enough that we could make it into something like later in the future. I think that'd be really cool. So, Neopet comedy started at my grandparents' house since we lived there for a short period of time. I'm literally yawning when the sun comes out. That makes no sense. It's been so cloudy today. But because we weren't able to play our DSs and like Neopets and Webkins and all that fun stuff, we were forced to do like ye old activities. Like we had this bead bin. Oh my god, this bead bin was like my favorite thing in the whole wide world. I'd organize that thing from top to bottom, like by color, by shape. Like I would organize those beads like day in, day out. And then of course I had a like how to draw book, and I was learning how to draw cartoons. Like this is honestly a very important like no technology kind of experience for me. Even though I hated it as a kid, obviously I was like, this is so lame. I want to play Neopets. Obviously, like, it was really important that I got time away from technology, so this was honestly a blessing in disguise. My papa had given me an old camera, because he really wanted me to, like, quote, see the beauty in the world and capture it. That is something my papa would say often. Like, that's a direct quote. He would say this a lot. And, like, me and my brother had just decided, you know what's beautiful to us and what we want to capture? Neopets. We love our action figures. Let's make a show. So we made a show called Neopet Comedy. That wasn't actually a comedy. It's a... I don't know how to describe Neopet Comedy because it's not even a comedy. Oh, I don't even know. But at school, I would rush through my assignments. Like, I would, like, speed through everything just so I could make Neopet comedy scripts, because yes, I would like write out the scripts and everything. Like we would like plan these episodes meticulously. And I remember my 5th grade teacher was so encouraging me about it. We thought it was the coolest thing ever. I remember when I'd finish my assignments, he'd be like, okay, it's like independent reading time or whatever, but I'd be like, no, I'm gonna write my book, I'm gonna write Neopet comedy, blah, 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 blah. Like I'd always be creating stuff, and he was always so encouraging. And we'd come home to Nanny and Papa's house, we'd record videos, and then I'd edit them on our old-ass computer using Windows Movie Maker. If you know, you know. And so we had this whole entire cast of Neopets characters. We had lots of different action figures and things. So the main character was this girl named Mayor. And it was like, you know, Neopets has these different like paintbrushes and things based off of different areas of the world of the Neopets game. And we had a lot of like, specifically we had like a desert set of figures, and then we had a fairy set of figures, and then we also had like a tropical set of figures. So we had like generic Neopets on top of like special ones. She was one of the desert ones, and I think it's kind of amazing that one of my very first, like, main characters was a hijabi woman. Like, she wore a hijab, and I think that that's amazing. I thought that was, like, the coolest thing ever as a kid, even though it's not very, traditional or correct hijab, because technically the ears are out. That's not usually how that goes. But, nevertheless, it was my first attempt because, my speech teacher, growing up from Wild Child's era, she wore a hijab, and I used to love it. I thought it was the most amazing thing in the whole wide world. And so I was really fixated on hijabs as a kid. I thought they were so amazing, so I would draw them on characters and stuff, and this was my interpretation. Technically, if you look at the action figure, it looks more like a mane, like fur, but I always interpreted like a hijab, which is so cool. Yes, Sachikoko, I've heard of LPS Popular. Yes, I have. And then the other main character was Bruce. He was just this blue penguin. He was just like the nerd emoji embodiment. They had a cat named Cat and a dog named Rascal. The cat was actually a lamp. It was not even a real cat. It was literally a lamp. And then the mayor's mortal enemy was Maylene. Like, yes, her name was Maylene. These names are exactly from Blackbird. I'm not making this up. She was this bowl cut, like, ram character with, like, a cloak, and, like, we always made her into, like, this evil villain who wanted to take over Mayor's position. She was like, if I ran the town, I would make everything, like, super expensive, and blah, blah, blah. Like, she was, like, basically the evil ruler, right? That, like, was trying to rule, but luckily wasn't. Like, she was trying to take over and be evil or whatever. And we literally would put her daughter, Pinky, on a string and have her fly around on the camera with, like, this very visible string. Like, not even trying to hide the fact that, like, Maylene just has her on a string and is like, go spy on them. Go spy on them, my daughter. And Pinky's like, help! I don't want to be a spy! Then we had Zoom, who was, like, this, like, icon. Who was, like, this superhero guy who had this freckle that literally gleamed, like, you know, like the anime ding off of, like, glasses? Like, his freckle, like, shined blinding light that he would, like, blind his enemies with his freckle? Like, I can't even make this shit up, bro. Okay, no, just kidding. This is where the comedy comes in. Because, like, what is this? Like, this is the comedy. The fact that, like, our superhero, his power is that his freckle glows so bright that he blinds enemies. His name is Zoom. His superpower isn't to go super fast. No. It's his freckle, bro. It's you can't make it up. It's so funny. Like, oh man, it's so good. And so, they ended with Zoom beating the crap out of Maylene with the freckle, and stealing Pinky, and Mayor and Bruce adopting her. And, like, that was, like, the happy ending. And, like, I thought this was, like, the best idea ever as a kid, of course. Like, we started writing, like, we made, like, 4 seasons of this shit. Like, we made so many, like, characters and stories, and, like, it evolves so much further. Trust me, Parker will get into it, because Parker's still making Neopet comedy. Like, there's gonna be another Neopet comedy episode. It's gonna be called Neopet Comedy Returns, because that's what we called, like, season, like, 2? Because then there was, like, Neopet Comedy Returns, Neopet Comedy 3, and then I think the other one never made it. I don't remember what it was called. It might have just been 4, genuinely. But yeah, don't worry. Don't worry, we have more Neopet comedy where that came from. Parker will tell you more about it when it comes back. There's a character that is actually foreshadowed. Hold on, I gotta show you now. So, like, whenever Parker's error comes up, you could go back and be like, I was there, I remember that you foreshadowed this. There's a character right here. There's a little goat. It's a brown, like, a gazelle-looking goat. His name is Bob. He's important. Remember Bob. Remember Bob the goat. Okay, that is all. PSA. Oh god. It's so funny. Alright, then we're getting down to our last few episodes, which do get kind of morbidly sad, I will warn you. I'm gonna do my best to keep spirits up, but it is going to get really hard for me. And I do apologize if I start crying. I've been crying a lot lately. I'm just kind of an emotional wreck. So, we'll see how that turns out. We'll see if I end up crying. I might. We'll see. I don't know. Alright, this episode, once again, we're going to be talking about the hoarding situation I used to live in. It has a lot of filth, a lot of disgusting details in this. Obviously, I can't really draw how bad it was with my very cutesy, cartoony little art style. But the imagery is there. It is drugs, alcohol, urine, feces, trash, broken glass, just lots of hoarding, stuff to the ceiling, bad, right? Okay. Just so you're aware. And we're gonna get into that. It's a lot of neglect. So. Alright. Here we go. The playroom. When we were kids at my dad's house, we decided to combine our rooms to have one bedroom and one playroom. Because things were getting so out of hand for us, we couldn't live in our own spaces anymore. There was no room for us. There was no room for any kind of comfort in these homes. So, we turned my room into the bedroom, which had our 2 twin beds, a dresser with our lava lamps, the desk with the computer, all of our dressers, and our TV. That was all that was in this room. Our closet was inaccessible, so we only used the dressers. And then the other room, which was my brother's room, turned into this room that we called the playroom. Kind of amazingly, we took the doors off of the closet and turned them into shelves above the windows. So above the windows were literal doors just nailed to the wall, literally, not even kidding you. And we had stuff up there. We had stuff on a kitchen table that Candy brought and threw in our room. Like, we had a whole kitchen table in there. We had lots of different toy chests. We had other dressers. The entire closet was spilling out with things ranging from musical equipment like amps, drums. We even had mattresses in there, like really old mattresses. Just stuff from Candy's old house, stuff from Dad's place, just everything merged in this one room. On top of all of the bajillions of toys we had been given over the years as compensation, right? So, this was our playroom. And on the front door, it's actually really funny. We put... Do you guys remember? There was this, like, ad going around when we were young, and it was called, like, Floam. And it went something like, Floam, the fun you can feel. And it was like, you could, like... It was like Play-Doh, except not. It was, like, this puffy kind of material that you could use. It has, like, styrofoam balls in it, right? And if you let it harden, it would, like, turn into, like, a sculpture kind of thing. Or you could just play with it and put it back in the container. Literally like Play-Doh. We would take the Floam, and we made a sign on the door that said, "The Playroom, where kids and toys unite." That is literally what it said on the door. We put stickers on the door. We had, like... We even took, like, temporary tattoos. You know, like the tattoos that you put on your arm and you use, like, water and it sticks it on your arm? Apparently you can apply those to doors. Fun fact, because we did that as children. We took those, like, temporary tattoos and stuck them on the door with water and it worked? Question mark? So yay. The whole door was decked out. And that was just, like, a really small detail. But, I used to really think hard about this, because I was like, why did we do that? You know, like, why did we, like, move our rooms together? It kind of makes no sense. Like, I don't really see the point of that. And then I was like, oh, wait. Like, it was awful. The house was a mess. What am I saying? Of course I know why we did that. The same thing, everything happened in this era. It was Candy. So, everything just kept getting really out of hand in my brother's room. And it makes me really mad that they did it to my brother, because, like, he was the youngest, and I don't know why they just chose his room as their dumping grounds. But it was starting to become dangerous. Like, legit, like, shelves were falling, like, because they were too heavy, boxes were falling, like, on my brother. Like, it was just really scary, and I was like, you know what, this is unsafe. So I tied up my hair, got my little Wild Child overalls back, and started pulling everything around. Like, I did this myself. Like, I moved the rooms around, got it all in order, and made us a safe space. Because, God, we needed it. Everything else was a disaster. Like, the whole house was destroyed because of the dogs. And, like, the dogs weren't potty trained. I think that's the most grotesque part about it all, is the way it smelled, and everything you were stepping in at 24/7 was just really bad. And just the bottles everywhere, man. It was just such a nightmare. Like, I thought this shot in particular was really just good as far as art goes, but it's how I feel Like, looking back at my memories sometimes, it does feel fogged up by, like, the glass of a beer. Like, I could see it through, like, this opaque kind of, like, amber glow. Like, it just literally feels so bad. And then, of course, we had, like, you know, God, I'm gonna turn on my sad emote. I realize that I'm talking about some sad stuff. Hold on, there we go. There was cigarette dust everywhere. And, like, as somebody who has asthma, you can only imagine how bad my asthma was in this environment. It was just as bad as you could imagine. Breathing in that place was just not possible. The adults were smoking indoors. It's just, everything was a total disaster. And, like, just an era prior, we had built that home. Me and my dad, floor by floor, literally just board by board, built that house. And this one person destroyed it. And this is the first time in Persona Project I think I've ever shown my, like, full-blown emotion. There's always been some level of me keeping my cool, but, like, I'm done keeping my cool. Because, like, Blackbird is my anger. Like, in the stages of grief, this is the anger. And I realized I'm already, like, year 9 was already done, and I had not, myself, expressed a whole lot of how I genuinely feel. It's just very much factual, informational. And so this is where the emotions are going to start to come into play. This is the first time I've ever told somebody from my past to fuck off. Like, I'm finally done being nice to them. There's no reason for me to be civil. Sometimes there's just a point where I am just so angry, I just need to be mad. And, like, I was really scared to show this episode because I was like, oh my god, people are gonna think I'm, like, really mean. People are gonna think bad of me because I can't control myself and I'm just so angry. But really, this is controlled enough. I animated this. Like, it wasn't like I got in front of a camera and screamed something and immediately regretted it. Like, I screamed this on recording, thought about it, said, you know what, yeah, I need that. Oh, I need that real bad. Put it into my editing program, edited the audio, animated it, posted it. Like, I did think about it, and I do think I need to yell at these people and say fuck them. I'm angry for myself. I'm angry for my brother. I'm angry. I'm so pissed off. Crying, screaming angry. And, like, Blackbird's relating because she's like, yeah, duh, I've been mad this whole time. That's what I've been trying to say. I'm so pissed off. And, like, no one listens to me. And that's when my spiteful ass is like, they will. They will. I'm animating this. I'm telling people exactly how we feel. Because, yeah, we have every right to be angry. I feel like it's a very healthy, normal human emotion to be angry. But society tends to view this emotion as bad, and to hide it, and oh, don't show emotion, don't show anger, don't show any negative emotion, and that is such bull. It's a natural human experience, and I feel very validated in being pissed off about this situation. Like, I'm surprised I haven't been more angry about this situation. I think that's, like, the whole point of my healing right now. This anger is my healing. Me getting upset is my healing. Because at the time, I was upset, sure, but I never got to express that. I never got to go, God, this sucked so bad. And now I can finally, with every breath, just say, this sucked. And I'm mad. And I'm so angry for my child self. She didn't deserve that. I don't deserve that. That was garbage. And I'm angry. And I'm allowed to be. I mean, God, if I wasn't angry, I'd be so worried about myself, dude. That would be so weird. Like, the fact that I haven't been more angry just shows you how deep it really was buried, and now it's finally out there, and I'm, like, breathing so much easier, genuinely feel so much better. 'Cause yeah, I'm a human, and guess what? I get pissed off sometimes. And usually with good reason. I don't think I've been pissed off without a good reason, alright? I feel like this is a pretty good reason. So, it's just teaching myself that anger is valid and good, and is a part of the healing process too. Even if it's a little ugly. Whoa.
I noticed that you saying you're angry isn't gold. The best text color for the best memories. It was so cathartic to see.
Yes, Mel! Oh my god, again, thank you for noticing all my little details. Everything that's in yellow is directly correlated to the most healing things. If you see text in yellow, that's because it's healing. It's because it's doing the best, most important work. And yeah, me being angry is healing. I need to be angry. I really do. So thank you for noticing. God, you guys are great. I really appreciate you guys. You've been such a wonderful audience when it comes to Persona Project, and oh man, I know this next couple of years are going to be really hard, but I have never felt more supported and ready to tell it because I know that I'm being listened to, and I very much appreciate it. And not even just listened to, I'm being, like, heard and understood, even, which is beautiful. The next episode is a bit of a sad one. It's a more focused on dissociative aspects of growing up. When you're, like, a product of extreme childhood trauma and neglect, you kind of end up in this scenario, and I know I'm not alone in this. I talked with my PetPyves members on the Discord about this pretty thoroughly. This is about my 5th grade graduation, so this is the end of my 5th grade, and everyone around me was crying, and I wasn't, and I remember being very blank-faced and very much apathetic towards the situation, and yeah, it was a big moment. I graduated. I hugged Mr. Crow and said goodbye. That was hard. He was such a big influence for me. And then we did this tradition. Every year, all of the 5th graders would do this thing, and it was called a 5th grade walkout, where on the very last day of school, they would play music on the loudspeakers. Everybody would stand outside, and they would, like, you know, clap and cheer and send off the 5th graders, because they, you know, they're graduating and they're done with elementary school. And so, basically, that was happening for me, and I was having a really hard time understanding that that was what was actually happening. Cause, like, all my old teachers were there, and, like, my friends were hugging me. Like, there's Jill, as you know from Wild Child's era, Jill. We call her Goldie now in this era. We are hugging, and, like, the send-off was grand, and it was all happy and cheerful. And I had seen this go on since Wild Child's era, right? We had sent off the 5th graders for as long as I could remember, and then here I was doing it, and it was my turn, but I did not understand or feel like it was actually happening, because the dissociation was so strong. And so, I sat there confused, wondering, am I supposed to be feeling something? Like, why is everybody crying? What's actually happening? What does this actually mean? What does graduation mean? Why is it such a big deal? Like, no adult had really told me what that meant. And, like, I realized that I had never thought about the future. And, like, how could I? Every day was a disaster. Like, how could I think any further than, like, the next hour? And I remember being so worried, because everybody else was crying and upset. And, like, I wasn't upset, and I was like, oh my god, am I supposed to be crying? I don't know, like, what to do. Like, I feel like I'm doing something wrong. I can't cry. Like, I tried to make myself cry. It wasn't happening, and I was like, what's wrong with me? And there was nothing wrong with me at all. Some people just don't emote that way, and, like, that's totally valid and fine. But I remember, like, while all of us were waiting to be picked up by our parents and stuff for, like, the special, there's, like, a 5th grade, like, after party celebration thing. Kids were playing on the playground, and I remember sitting on the bench under a tree alone. I remember sitting there and being like, what's happening? I'm never gonna come back to this school. I know I'm never gonna see it again, but I don't feel sad. Am I supposed to be sad? What's gonna happen next? I don't really know what's going on. Like, it was just so much confusion. And so, like, I had Blackbird just talking with the trickster because, like, all I had was myself. And my dissociation, my depression. Like, everybody just said, you're gonna be a middle schooler. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what that means. And so, like, I'm sitting there, like, kind of mourning the fact that, like, I never, like, understood my future. I never thought about it. I was never given a future. Because, like, that's kind of the reality when it comes to people who are from these marginalized kind of areas of life. Like, when you grow up in poverty, when you grow up in low income, when you grow up with childhood trauma, abuse, neglect, when you come from really, really dark backgrounds, like, school is not your priority, man. Survival is. And so, like, yeah, I may have been a gifted kid, and I may have been, like, the super smart, awesome kid or whatever, but, like, that meant nothing because I literally didn't have clothes to wear and food to eat, and that meant nothing because I had to stand up to my abusers on a regular basis and fight for my life. Like, there is no future ahead of me because my present was just awful. And that's, like, the reality of, like, this whole episode is recognizing the fact that, like, I had no idea what was about to happen to me. That entity in the background is a new one, by the way. That's collywobbles. That's gonna be a whole other disorder that we're gonna get into that I'm going to instantly get demonetized for. But don't worry, I have a plan. That disorder is something that YouTube really hates to talk about on its platform, so I'm gonna turn it into a fundraiser. Haha. We're not even gonna attempt to monetize it, we're just gonna give money to organizations to help people with these. Because I found out some very interesting things about YouTube when it comes to this disorder. And I'm going to spite them. Believe me, I'm a creature of spite. You should know this by now. But yeah, like, lots of stuff was on the horizon. Like, it was like, sure, I graduated, but also all of this stuff was going on at home. People were fighting. Bad stuff was happening to me all the time. I had to protect my brother and myself. I had to live. I didn't have time to think about graduation. And so I sat on that bench, alone, knowing that no matter what changed, like, in school, that didn't really matter. I had, like, other fish to fry, man. I had other things going on in my life. I had way more important things to worry about. And I animated that little yellow butterfly again, and that felt very cathartic to me personally, because that little yellow butterfly kind of symbolizes my childhood in a way. You'll see it a lot with Wild Child. You see the yellow butterfly often throughout her era. Because I associate that metamorphosis very deeply with my childhood and that, like, wonder and that little tiny beauty, that blip of nature that is a butterfly is very much akin to my childhood. So you'll see that often. And with the butterfly kind of flying away, symbolizes that my childhood is over. As if it wasn't already kind of messed up. But it was truly over in this moment. As I tried to kind of wrangle, like, what I thought about school, I was like, oh, there were good moments, right? Like, Wild Child is a lot of my good moments. But then I have the more recent bad moments. You can see the trickster is all interested in the bad moments, of course. And in the end, I just decided to continue with my coping mechanism. I dissociated, and I was like, you know what? I'm happy. Everyone else is happy, so I'm happy. And, like, I made it. I, like, survived, you know? It's just another thing that I survived. I survived public school. And then you can kind of see things through the lens of Figment. Figment is the embodiment of my avoidant personality disorder. So Figment is there as a representation of dissociation, right? So Figment literally blocks the screen. It's blocking the literal memory of, oh, I went through, like, so many hardships in school. Like, I got bullied all this whole time. I struggled really hard in classes and like, fell behind in a lot of aspects, but I graduated and I don't really know what that means either. So you get, like, the lens of the dissociation of, like, you blink and it's over and you don't even know how you feel or if you should feel at all, and then you just end up not feeling, and it's kind of a cycle. And so Blackbird looks at it like, everything Wild Child couldn't do, I fixed it. Like, I did it. Like, this is a good thing. But I don't know why I had to do it. I don't know why I had to be put through school. I don't know why I had to be bullied. I don't know why I had to dissociate. I don't know why I have depression and anxiety and OCD and AVPD and C-PTSD and autism. And I don't know why all of these things happened to me and all these bad things happened to me. But she took it. And she made the best out of it. And protected everyone around her. And yeah, she is kind of shielding Wild Child from the avoidant stuff because she knows deep down, before the avoidant personality kicked in, that was when I was the happiest, dude. I was present. I was alive. I was in nature. I felt the sun. Life was good. And like, there is a part of Blackbird that wants to protect that. So that's why she is the way she is today. And that's why Blackbird dissociates so badly. And like, the whole thing with Wild Child playing in the rain is just very Wild Child core. But it also is very much like what was on the screen, which was a very important word, forever. Forever used to be a scary word to Wild Child until the very last episode of her era, in which she realized that she could be a kid forever. Now the word forever is a really beautiful and wonderful thing to her. And so there's just this whole like really amazing kind of undertone of goodbyes being forever as being a good thing. Dissociation sometimes is there to protect you. And that, you know, they're coping mechanisms for a reason. Maladaptive, sure, but they're there for a reason. Your brain was trying to protect you from things that were so much bigger than you. And you have to allow yourself some grace. And there has been a lot of really sad goodbyes in my life, but there's also been a lot of really good ones. And Blackbird was kind of mourning the loss of her childhood in this moment. The goodbye that is forever that she was so upset about was the fact that her childhood was robbed from her forever. But Wild Child is there to remind me that I can be a kid whenever I want. That my childhood was, yeah, robbed from me. But that doesn't mean that I can't enjoy whimsy and childish things and still treat myself to ice cream and do random silly adventures with my friends and draw cats and dogs and be cringe and free. Like, that stuff, I'm gonna have Wild Child forever, man. You can't take that from me. Like, I'll always have my inner child. And that's what Wild Child was trying to remind Blackbird, is that she's here forever to dance in the rain. And I think Blackbird finds comfort in that. That someone made it. Even if she doesn't, as long as someone's okay. That's honestly Blackbird's motto. Because she is the hero, and she does live to serve. She does live to make sure that everybody else can make it through better and easier than she ever did. Which is incredible for a 10-year-old. Holy cow. God, I'm breaking my computer, oh my god! It's having a horrible time. These episodes are very long, so they're like very, very hard on the computer, the poor thing. Okay. So, this episode is the second to last one. Thanks for bearing with me. Told you this was gonna be a long stream. So, this is about the best Christmas I ever had. The only reason why it is sad to me is because there's like a lot of complex grief behind the good memories I have sometimes, you know what I mean? Where it's like, oh. I know the poor music, dude, I don't know what's happening, help. Yeah, it'll be okay, it'll equal itself out, don't worry. Jesus, sorry guys. It's my computer. It doesn't like when I do anything on it anymore. I'm investing in a new one soon. Don't worry. We'll have to deal with it very much longer. But yeah, it's just like, I don't know. There's something about the really, really happy memories that kind of get to me sometimes. And this is kind of just like a sweet tale about something cool my dad did for us growing up. Which one time we were at the store on Christmas Eve. I know, that's kind of like, I looked back and I was like, Dad, really? We're going shopping on Christmas Eve? What is wrong with you? Like, dude, what are we doing? Like, those poor workers, let them go home. What are you doing? Anyways, there was these little sleeping cat toys. They're essentially a stuffed animal with a motor inside that made it look like their little, like, chest was rising up and down, like, breathing gently. It was basically like a little sleeping cat. And we saw them at the store, and I was like, oh my god, they're so cute! And my dad was like, yeah, you have real cats at home, you know, typical dad response. And was like, we gotta go. And I was like, okay. You know, left the toys. Thought nothing of them. Goodbye. Also, if you saw my little sign, I know some of you did. You should obviously know how I feel about certain things, and this is definitely one of them. I won't say it out loud. You can read. But yeah, yeah, I have strong feelings. But anyways, I keep them to myself for the most part. God, the music is just fighting for its life right now. Hey man, can you chill the heck out? I'm gonna back you up a little bit. You're gonna relax. You're gonna relax. There you go. Relax. It's not relaxing. I apologize if the music is extra cursed. Anyways, but yeah, we had this great Christmas. My dad got these really funky, like, LED, like, yard ornaments of, like, a Christmas tree and a reindeer. And I remember for freaking hours, me and my brother would take turns getting inside of the Christmas tree and pretending we were in jail. I don't know why. So it's just a small detail that I thought was really funny, that we would sit there and, like, play with the lawn ornaments for freaking hours. Like the definitely normal children we were. But yeah, it was really neat, because it was kind of like we were getting the groove of, like, the weird custody situation. We were finally, like, able to see my entire family in the same day. So, like, Christmas Eve would be, like, dedicated to my nanny and papa. We would go over there for presents and make cookies and gingerbread houses and for a big old dinner, right? Oh god, that scared me. Oh, thank you for subscribing. Oh, but that scared me. But there's actually a cut episode that I'm probably gonna, like, make and release for, like, members only later on. Just because when I cut episodes, it's because they're just really not that important, and I won't ever make my super important content, like, behind a paywall, you know what I mean? So, the gift that my papa is holding right now, the music! Dude, chill. Okay. So yeah, there's these gifts that my papa would give us that we would call the Woahs. He called them the Woahs, W-A-Z, and they were essentially mystery gifts. And the Woahs was the only gift under the tree that we were allowed to guess over and over and over again what it was. Like, what it was. Get it? That's why it was called the Woahs. So we had to guess what it was, and if we could, we got to open it, like, early, right? So it would be out, like, from, like, the start of December, and we'd be sitting there trying to guess what it is, and if we guessed it, we could open it. But we never could, because my papa was, like, the master of disguise, and he would, like, make things be shaped super weird and interesting, so that way we'd be thrown off and stuff. And so, that was just, like, a small, tiny tradition, and one of the best Woahs I think I ever got was a Game Boy when I was in Wild Child's era, like, forever ago. And so that was, like, a tiny detail I'd like to point out there. And then, later on, it would be, like, the day of Christmas in the evening, we go to my Mimi's house for dinner. So we have, like, lunch with my nanny and papa and everything, and dinner and everything, like, the day before, and then on Christmas Day we'd go to, like, Mimi and Papa's, or Pop-Pops. God, I keep getting them all mixed up. Sorry. too many grandparents. And so, yeah, like, it was just this thing where, like, my family, I got to see, like, literally my entire family on the same day, and that had not happened to me, like, since before my parents got divorced. So that was, like, really cool and special. Like, this Christmas was just the first time where it was just, like, it was just finally, like, whole again. And then on top of that, my dad went crazy with Christmas that year. Like, we had so many gifts, and, like, it was just like, over the top crazy. Like, Santa set up our little Thomas the Tank Engines to carry our Pokemon around the track under the tree. Like, Mans went into our playroom and got our train sets and, like, set them all up and everything. And then, like, we got these little gaming chairs. They're, like, rocking chairs. That you could, like, plug your games into, and they had, like, a speaker in them, so you could, like, project your game music. And like rock in the chair, which, oh my god, rocking is one of my favorite stims ever, so this was like the best thing ever given to me. We also got some games, and I made rip-off brands of the games. We have Hampders, New Super Romeo Bros, and Tamagotchi Shop 3, my favorite games. I love making things off-brand for no reason, it's really fun. And then we got sleeping cat toys. And it was such a magical thing to me, because I don't know how they got there, because literally, like, we were with my dad the entire time. There was no way this man snuck this past me. I am, like, vigilant. Like, hyper vigilant. There is no way that I missed him going back into the store and grabbing these cats. Like, either he had already bought them, because he thought they were cool, and then we just happened to say that on the same day, or he somehow in, like, the dead of night went and got them. I don't know. He's just, like, a time traveler. Like, I'm just convinced. Because literally, he was there the entire time. I don't know how he did this, bro. So, he just managed to sneak it past me, and it was, like, the most amazing thing. I remember being so excited, being like, how? How did you do this? It's real Christmas magic! It's real Christmas magic! And I was so excited and happy. God, there's so much messed up with the audio right now. I am so sorry, guys. Hopefully my voice is coming through okay, because the music's all messed up. And, like, the sound effects are really loud for no reason. I don't know what's going on, man. I updated my stuff. That's the problem. But yeah, this Christmas was just great, because, like, we just had so much fun, and my whole family was there, and it was just peaceful. Like, it was just felt normal for once in my life. But I think the important thing about this holiday was that I remember having this kind of meltdown, right? Where, like, we were getting all this stuff, and, like, it was just so much stuff that I was, like, again, getting that fear, that financial worry of, like, are we gonna be okay? Like, is this another, like, elaborate stunt to, like, give us a bunch of stuff we don't need? And, like, I was, like, scared about the hoarding. I was scared about our money, like, and it was worrying me, and I felt really bad, and I felt like I didn't deserve presents. I was feeling really down on myself, and so I remember I grabbed my dad, and I told him I was sorry. I walked up to him and I was like, Dad, I'm so sorry that you have to buy us presents. And I remember, like, him being so sad, and he picked me up by my feet and, like, hung me from the ceiling, and he was like, that's not for you to worry about. That's an adult thing to worry about. You're a kid. You worry about kid stuff. You worry about you. Which was kind of, rich coming from him. But he did try to instill that in me. He absolutely failed, because he did not lead by example whatsoever. He did give me adult problems to deal with, unfortunately. The attempt was there. He did want me to feel like a child. He tried. I know that he tried. I think that makes it worse. In some ways. But I just remember crying that Christmas because I felt so guilty and awful for being given presents on Christmas. And so it was just nice that I got to be comforted and told that it was okay to be a kid. And it was so important that I got the chance to be a kid. Even if I rejected it, even if I felt guilty, even if I cried, it was really important that I was given a shot at a normal life. Even if they failed, they tried. Some of the adults did, but yeah. It's just part of that complex grief for me, where I'm just like, really sad that they failed. Really sad that they even tried. Don't know what's worse at this point, so. Alright, we're down to the last episode, which was a doozy. It was like the longest episode ever. I actually animated this in my record-setting time. I animated the entirety of the custody episode, which is almost 3 minutes long. I did that in 10 hours. From start to finish, like, completed it in 10 hours. Which is kind of nuts. Sets a precedent for the rest of my channel. I mean, honestly, do I really need an animation team when I am me? Like, yeah. I did that in 10 hours, which is absolutely wild. Oh, greatest plan. I'm sorry. I know if you relate to the Christmas girl, I'm so sorry, guys. Oh, I'm here with you. I'm here with you. It's a hard holiday. Mel! I love your inside joke. It's so funny. Also, Lost Woods, I like your theory that Jim had something to do with the cats. That would have been so funny. Jim and my dad were like, honestly, they were pretty close. They were good friends. Like, they were on very great terms. Honestly. They would they would bond over how awful my mom was. I think it's so funny in retrospect. They call each other just to complain about her. I think it's really funny. Oh, man. Alright, it's loading in. It's very long. So yeah, it takes a while to load in. I do apologize. There we go. Because this is the full, like, raw animation file, so it's just long. So, forewarning, this episode is really rough. This talks about a custody battle that I was put in the middle of, sadly. I was put in the middle of the custody. I was the one who had to make the decision for me and my brother, who was going to be the primary parent for both of us. Because I was starting middle school, and it was time to not go back and forth every other day to somebody's house, because that was insane. Oh, okay, water. Alright. So, I was approached by both my mom and my dad, which is always scary, honestly. Like, when you're in like a divorced family, and like both your parents sit with you in the same room, it's like, oh god. Like, all I was thinking was, oh god. Oh no. And so, they sat me down and they were like, hey, you're starting middle school, things are gonna change. You're not gonna go to daycare anymore, which was the best fucking thing ever. Oh my god, I hated daycare, bro. But, I did have to choose whose house I wanted to stay at, mom's or dad's. And it was gonna be a primary thing. So I would stay with them throughout the week and weekend, and then every other weekend I would see the other parent. And it was a weird thing, because, like, whatever parent would have me during the school year, the other parent would get the summer. So, it was kind of a big decision to put on a 10-year-old's shoulder, to say the very goddamn least. They told me a bunch of white lies, like, you can change your mind, we won't be upset with whoever you choose, you know, all that classic bullshit that meant absolutely nothing, because guess what? It did matter who I chose. They took it very personally because they're immature and they're mentally ill. Like, of course, why would they ever be stable adults? Like, ever. And, like, so I was extra stressed out because I knew that it was, like, they were lying to me. And, like, I had to make this decision for my brother, too. Like, yeah, his little animation was, like, so goofy of, like, me holding the entire world and then it crushing me. I mean, that's genuinely how it felt. And so, it's just this really awful situation where it was just a no-win scenario, right? Because you had my mom, who was my mom, and then we had my dad, who was, you know, alcoholic, having his own set of issues, and then we had Candy in the mix as well. And there was no scenario where I was gonna be happy and safe, like, genuinely. And I, like, know I was screwed. So, as a kid, I literally sat down with a clipboard and a notebook, and I started writing out the good and the bad. I made a T-chart. Like, I literally was sorting this shit out as if I was an adult, right? I was like, okay, Dad's been a great dad since Wild Child's era. Dad's been kind to me. He gives me band-aids when I fall down. He puts me in the tow hanger. He doesn't punish me physically like mom. He got me a trampoline. He does fun stuff with us. He's not strict or mean. Obviously, this seems like the best option. Except, oh no, my house is now a hoarding situation full of really dangerous things and dangerous people. Oh god, it's filthy. It's unlivable. We wouldn't have food, water, or clothes. Literally wouldn't have basic necessities. We also wouldn't be able to be driven anywhere because alcohol is the priority in that house. The only thing that mattered in that house was alcohol. Like, that would take precedent over everything. And I knew that. And so, I also had to gripe with the fact that, yeah, if I go to live with my mom, she's hurt me since I was born. Okay, like, this woman's been evil to me since I was born, and I cannot forget that. And, like, yeah, my mom's a hard worker. She pulled up her bootstraps. She went and got a job, just like everyone else. And she supported our lavish lifestyle. She might be a stuck-up bitch, but, like, she did provide. And, like, she lived quite wealthily, glamorously. She was very much, like a jewelry and nice clothes, nice perfume person. Like, she was always cleaning, she always kept everything in tip-top shape, like, genuinely like a museum. And, like, I looked up to her for that. But, like, this is the important part of the entire episode, is this is the first time that Blackbird does acknowledge that mom sucks. Because, like, yeah, Wild Child is a permanent reminder that, like, my mom sucks. And so, she has to consider all of these things. Like, I also had come to the realization that, like, even though my mom sucked at cooking, she fed me. She had the nicest house. She had my childhood home, the same home that I had been in since I was a baby. And she kept good care of it, and she always got me name brand clothes whenever I did get clothes. It wasn't very often, but when I did, she was the one that provided it, not dad. And she always made sure I got to school. She took pictures of every single first day of school my entire life. She was at least there for that. She at least provided transportation. And now Jim was there, which was just like, you know, icing on the cake, honestly. And, like, I knew that if my mom was gonna be evil, Jim wouldn't let that happen. And, like, the other little cherry on top was that my brother was always my mom's favorite. My mom said that she never favorited. She did. We all know this. Like, even my brother knows this. Like, we know. Like, my dad favorited me, and my mom favorited my brother. And that's how it was always been since the get-go. And so, ultimately, the decision came down to what would be most beneficial to my brother. Because at the time, I didn't have the self-worth to be like, oh, I need to consider myself. I was like, no, this is a decision for my brother too. This is too much. And so, I looked at it from a strictly business perspective. I went transactionally. Mom has the nice house. Mom has transportation, food, and water, and clothes. She isn't fun. She's abusive and horrible to me specifically, but not my brother at least. So you know what? I took the L. I sat under my bed, like I always do. And this is like a very distinct memory of mine. I was under my bed when I made this decision. And I started to have a mental breakdown because this was, like, obviously way too much to have on my shoulders as a young child. And I remember the only comfort I had was a plastic clothes hanger. Like, this is, like, the most pathetic kicked puppy thing I think I've ever done in my life. But I sat under my bed holding a clothes hanger that I found under the bed and just hugging it and repeating over and over, it's all for him. It's all for him. It's all for him. Like, over and over, like, you know, kind of like sometimes autistic people, when they're stressed, they will stim. No, I was stress stimming really bad. So I kept saying it was all for my brother. Because really, that's what made my decision. What made my decision wasn't what's gonna benefit me, it was what's gonna benefit us. Because what would have benefited me was living with my dad. My dad never hurt me, bro. He, yeah, was drunk and would be stupid sometimes, but he would never lay a hand on me. And that meant the world to me. But I gave it up. Because at the end of the day, I knew we weren't going to survive, and that my brother would be even more miserable there. It's not that they were treating my brother super terribly, like, my mother definitely treated me way worse, but, like, they treated my brother poorly in the far future, but in that moment, this was just yet another sacrifice, which is, like, a huge theme with Blackbird's era. Oh my god, my computer, bro. Please. We're almost there, computer. We're almost there. Relax, girl. But Blackbird's era primarily focuses on the theme of sacrifice and strength and what defines those things. And so here I was, hugging a freaking clothes hanger, crying under my bed, saying it's all for my brother, and making my decision. And it wasn't an easy decision to make. I just want to make that so obviously, I mean, it should be here, how clear it is. It was a lose-lose scenario. There was no scenario where I would have been happy and safe. There was always a sacrifice. There was no way, even if I chose to live with my dad, I know what I would be signing up for. A hoarding situation, living with candy, living with drugs and alcohol, living in danger, living in poverty. By choosing to live with my mom, I was still signing myself up for abuse. Like, there is no way out of this endless cycle. Not yet. Because I was a dependent, I was a baby, I was a minor. There was no way for me to get out of this. And I knew that. And so yeah, I had to go to court. I had to stand in front of that court. Thank God I did it for my brother. I didn't have to go. Oh my god. My brother didn't have to go. I had to go and just tell them my decision because my parents were so at each other's throats, like they couldn't just make a decision. They had to have the satisfaction of making me say it. And this is like a really important small detail. But as soon as I said, the moment I said I want to live with my mom smirked. I watched her. I watched her expression. She smirked. My dad sulked just a little. I could tell he was disappointed. I think he really thought he had it in the bag because he was so fun and everything, but like he was just completely neglecting the fact that he was like an alcoholic and had serious issues with his house and partner and everything. But my mom smirked. And like, I'll never forget that because of all of the turmoil I went through to make this decision of literally sobbing and having a mental breakdown under my bed, hugging a clothes hanger because I knew that she was going to get the satisfaction of winning. That she was going to get the satisfaction of continuing to abuse me. And she smiled. She smiled. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. It speaks volumes. She didn't have to say a word. Like, it is just, oh, it's like something out of a movie. It's just so gross. And I remember my dad fell apart about this, man. Like, he was crushed. Like, he left that courtroom crying. Like, at the very end, he cried. Like, he was so upset. And, like, you know, everything they told me that nobody would be upset. Oh, they were. And, like, oh, I could change my mind. You know, I packed up my room at Dad's house. And I would never come back. Like, not permanently, anyway. And I couldn't make any more decisions without going to court again. And I was traumatized. I did not want to go back to court. Court was scary. And it wasn't that easy. It wasn't as easy as everyone said it was going to be. And I had to sit there and watch my mom baby my brother, knowing that I was going to face the brunt of my own fucking decision. And every time something bad happened, I would go, but I chose this. In reality, I didn't. I didn't choose this life. I didn't choose to be locked into this turmoil, this pain, this endless abuse and neglect. Like, this was in fact not my choice, but Blackbird believes it is. That everything bad that is about to happen is all her own fault because now she had the autonomy to choose. And like, fuck my parents for that. They suck. How do you look at a 10-year-old and go, yeah, that could make a lifelong decision. Yeah, sure. They should have been civil enough to sit in a room together and make a decision together. They had children together. It should at least be the bare minimum that they can withstand each other for a fucking hour and not put me through it. But that's what happened. They put me through it. And it was under the guise that they wanted me to feel like I had a choice. It was under the guise that they wanted me to have the power and control. And I didn't. Like, I shouldn't have had it, and I should not have been forced to make such a horrible decision. Like, it was just terrible. But I'm so proud of myself. And, like, I broke down when I recorded this. I was, like, fucking bawling. But I'm so proud of myself, because, like, a 10-year-old, little 10-year-old me, after everything I've gone through, stood there and still made a decision. Still stood by every word that she said. And said, no, I made the best choice possible. Even if it's going to cause me the most amount of turmoil and pain, it was just a part of the cycle of sacrifices that I will make to survive. And that broke me, man. I'm just so proud of my younger self. Because she did not have to deal with any of that shit. But she did! And she made the best decision of my life. I genuinely think that this saved my life. Like, this probably prevented me from being in a freak accident that would have ended up on a Netflix documentary. Like, Candy and my dad in that house was so unsafe. I genuinely don't think I would be alive today if Blackbird did not make this decision. She made the best decision in the whole wide world, and I'm so proud of her, and I'm so grateful for her, and all of that turmoil and struggle, and all of that self-hatred, and all of everything that came into this stupid decision that I was forced to make. Despite everything, I love this kid, and I'm so proud of her. And I stand by my decision to this day. I still think it was the best decision I could have made out of a lose-lose scenario. And, oh, yeah, of course.
Mal's last minute donos yuppie. I know year 11 is gonna be tough, but just know that when you get through it you will have healed so much.
Oh, I know. Thank you, Mal. Thank you for the dono. But yeah, I will. Trust me. Year 11's gonna be horrendous. I don't even know how to begin, like, to explain it. But that was just year 10. This is just the beginning. I really appreciate everybody standing by me in this. I know this is a really, really, really hard set of topics, and there's no, like, beautiful way to talk about it, and sometimes there isn't, like, a direct path to show how I have healed from it. Because there's some things where I genuinely don't know if I'll recover. And that's okay. Like, I feel like that's okay, and I'm learning to embrace that more and more, because the more that I've been writing year 11, I was stressing out going, but I don't have something positive to say by the end. Or I don't have, like, a moral or a lesson or something I took away from it. It's just pain. It's just suffering, and I don't have any, like, rhyme or reason or any way to make sense of it. So just know that in the coming episodes for Persona Project, there are some episodes that are just awful, and that is just what they are. There is nothing to reflect upon or learn or gain. It is just something that happened to me that I wish to just get off my chest. Because the more that I put it out there, it's a reality. Because right now I'm in so much denial that things even happened at all because of my dissociation. So Persona Project right now is a really, really good way for me to prove to myself that this is real. It makes it real. Every frame, every word, every bit of it makes it real. And that's really, really important to me. So thank you guys so much for being here and supporting me throughout this whole entire time. It is going to be really, really, really rough, but you guys make it so much easier. I really do appreciate it, man. Like, every part of it. Just watching it, just sharing it, commenting when it's allowed. Like, it's just all so appreciated. Your donations help so tremendously. Keeps me doing this as my job. It gives me the full time I need to focus on it. And that's exactly why I took, like, 2 weeks off, was just so I could heal from year 10 and feel closure with, like, all of that, and get ready for a whole load of And yeah, for those who are gonna stick around to the end of Persona Project, you'll understand that this is definitely the worst, and we'll be glad to get it over with. Oh, let me get some water. Whew. Oh, thank you guys so much. How long did I have to make that decision, Dizzy Tune? Good question. I don't really know. They kind of asked me during the summer, before middle school. It was like, hey, by the end of summer you need to be figuring out who you wanna, like, live with, essentially. So it was like, I had like 3 months to like make a choice, go to court and everything, and then like pack up all my stuff and be ready for school in fall for middle school. Yeah, thank you guys. Oh, thank you. You guys are so sweet. Yeah, I will go ahead and we'll do some Q&A. If you have any questions about anything I just covered, if I missed some detail that you need clarification on, or just want to tell me about something, go ahead. I can answer any questions that are appropriate within the realm of asking. And then before I hop off, I will inform you guys about what is to be expected with the next few episodes and where we are at with that, and a couple channel updates, because obviously I've been busy. I've been real busy making everything kind of rebranded and fun and cool. It was definitely time for some new art, and been really working hard on that. Yeah, Lostwoods, you can ask anything. You can ask if it's about Breadside, sure, you can ask questions about anything at this point. Like, if you want to ask questions about what we just talked about, sure, be my guest. Or you can ask just anything in general about the channel, that's fine. I've been making a lot of random changes, so. Why is Blue Jay always put in dresses? Because my brother's trans. And if you didn't know that, that is just a subtle detail. To me, he's always been my brother, so that's why he always has he, him pronouns, and he's my brother, because he's always been my brother. But, yeah, that's why. I get that question a lot, and I feel like it's pretty obvious, and if I'm being mean by saying it's obvious, I do apologize, but to me, it just feels obvious. If you've been on my channel long enough, you will know that my brother is all over my channel, and he's, hopefully gonna be around very soon to be on it more. Which will be very exciting. Why did I change the design of some of the characters? Because my art grows and changes throughout the years. Persona's been going on for a year now, and I've really come into this art style because of how consistently I draw Persona Project. It's like every day, for 8 hours a day, I'm drawing Persona Project. So, my art has changed a lot, and because of that, I wanted to update a lot of the designs and everything, because I've had better ideas, and I've been able to draw it better than ever before, so it's only natural that things are going to update over time. Is Robin my current era gonna have more episodes? Oh yeah, no, Crescent Moonery, we're gonna cover a lot of stuff about what happened in my current era so far. Like, my retina became detached and I went blind, I had to get eye surgery, I got the tires stolen off of my car via hate crime because I'm gay and disabled. Like, there's all kinds of stories I have to tell, man. Like, lots of stories to tell when it comes to Robin's era. It's been very chaotic, outside of just animating, like, Persona Project and everything else. Like, it's been a wild few years for me. And this year has been horrific. But I'm very happy that I'm at least healing in the background. So, it'll be cool. I think I'll show a lot of the process of Persona Project during Robin's era. Yeah, the camera that Blackbird had, that's a great question, the greatest plan. The camera that Blackbird has is not the same one as Parker, but it is where the love of photography began. It's not the same camera, though. I got, a new camera for Parker. Oh! Dude, thank you!
I hope you're well. You inspired me so much.
Aww.
Red heart emoji.
Yay! Oh, and thank you, Spud Bean, for the donation. That's so cool. I am doing well. I am doing well. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm so happy to inspire you. That's awesome, dude. The new setup looks like a Tamagotchi, then I'm doing it right. Retro is my aesthetic, man. Hell yeah. Lego cat? The inspiration for all of my updates and like my style and everything is that I'm actually finding my true identity. When you go through like a crap load of trauma, you tend to not have a sense of self because your trauma is your identity. And now that I'm healing a lot of my trauma, I'm like halfway through my life when it comes to Persona projects, so I'm just like, damn. Like, I've let go a lot of like my childhood strife and everything, and now I get to finally do what I was supposed to do when I was a kid, which is try out different aesthetics, try out different styles, try new things, find out who I am and what I like. And I found out that I really like the 90s aesthetic. And that is kind of everything that I'm leaning into now. I love the colors, I love the shapes, I love the animations, I love the toys that come from that era. God, it's just so good. And like, I'm finally leaning into like my arcade aesthetic. I'm finally finding out like, wow, this is who I've been all along underneath all of the turmoil. And now it's finally coming out in bright colors, and you can see it now. And that's just a really good sign that I'm healing. Aww. Oh, Lost Woods. Do the villain dads play fight? I feel like they definitely have their bickering arguments kind of thing. Like, they are, like, a villain duo. I do imagine that, like, they would, like, especially if they were, like, trying to achieve the same goal. Like, if they're like, oh, like, we're gonna steal this artifact thing, right? And if, like, one person did it, they'd be like, hey, no, I was there first. Like, they would definitely, like bicker and stuff. Like, they're just like that. And, like, Toby's no stranger to that. Toby's immune to that. Like, they'll always be bickering and being silly. Like, they never seriously fight. Like, they never ever do that. Kira, the Queera, you have a great question that ooh, this is a good segue. I have a video coming out tomorrow that is going to be my new rules and regulations for my channel. It is going to cover everything. And it has a very big Persona project portion in which I very thoroughly explain how to make your own Persona project and, like, basically the difference between common knowledge when it comes to personal narratives and healing journeys, and then what is exclusive to my Persona project. So if you use the term Persona project or personal project and describe, you know, factors of your life as eras, and you make personas and everything, probably credit me. That sounds exactly like what I'm doing. But there are so many ways that you can make a personal project. You can name it whatever you want. You can call eras different things. Like, there's so many, like, vast amount of ways. But there's a video that is coming out tomorrow that will tell you everything you're gonna need to know. And even if you have questions, you can ask more questions on that video. It's already out for, like, it's already on, like, my channel in a couple of spots. I can't recall if I added it into this video description. It might even be in this video description. So check it out. It'll probably answer all your questions that you ever have about making your own Persona project. Because that's, like, my most common question ever. Questions are flying by. I'm sorry if I missed them. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. Do you recommend a Persona project? I mean, I recommend doing it if you're at the end of your healing journey. I don't recommend doing this at any other point. You've got to have all of the therapy skills in the world. You got to have CBT, you've got to have DBT, you've got to have shadow work, inner child, family system knowledge. You got to have a very good knowledge of mental health disorders and mental illnesses. You got to have so much of a great understanding of yourself. This is why I always recommend that you go through this with a therapist, a licensed therapist, because you genuinely are going to need professional help when trying to tackle something as big as your life story. There is nothing more important and nothing that needs to be done more correctly for your own sense of justice and for your own closure. Like, you really got to be doing this at the end. Like, everything I've talked about, I've really am at the end. Like, this is like the last time I'm gonna talk about it, and then I'm moving forward into the future. Like, this is the end of my healing journey. This is the magnum opus of healing journey, okay? This is like my final deal. Oh, sorry, hit the microphone. This is like my final thing to do, and then I will have graduated from therapy and I will not need to go anymore. That's when you should be making a persona project. That's when you should be making a personal narrative. Not at the beginning, not at the middle, but at the end. You need to be very fully informed about what you are going to do. It is not for the faint of heart. It is super hard to do. It took me like years and years and years to get to this point. I have rewritten this project like 6 or 7 or 8 times. Like, this is like the product of like a decade of healing. Oh, let's see. Questions. Oh, Austin, yeah. I did, Haley's redesign. I redesigned her because it's a lot closer to how I actually looked during the era. I just wasn't vibing with the long hair. I literally did not have long hair. I don't know why I designed her like that. That makes no sense. Like, I don't know. They're supposed to look like me, you know, in, like, some sort of semblance of some kind of way, so. That was just, like, she was just kind of out of character, I guess, so now she's more in character. Oh, dad joke. You got more dad jokes? Yes, greatest plan. What is the most just Pokemon? Clefairy. That's so good. You're so good at your puns, dude. I'd love to see it. Shy artist. Ooh, Halloween costumes for the eras. Oh, that's a good one. I have to think about what they each wore. Wild Child, like, her favorite one was her Blue's Clues costume. Blackbird was a candy corn witch. It's really cute. Parker was like a Grim Reaper with a little scythe that I called Beelzebub. For some reason, I don't know. Really don't know. Hawley, I was in a weird space in Hawley era where I was like not dressing up or participating in Halloween, which is really sad. It just shows you just how far away from myself I was in that era. And then Haley, I dressed up as a like a pumpkin, like little OC that I have. And now I'm making a Moose Geo mask this year for me, for Robin era. I'm gonna dress up as Moose Geo for Halloween. It's gonna be really cool. From Brightside. Alright, let's see. I'm so sorry if I missed questions, y'all. Chess is good. I didn't take theater, unfortunately. Again, I couldn't do any extracurricular activities. Kinda sucks. I was very much like, just go to school and come home. Like, I literally didn't have anything like that, unfortunately. I wish I could have done theater. I signed up for it, but then I got, you know, taken out of it because I literally couldn't freaking get to the, like, play practices or even performances. Like, there was no point in me being in theater because I couldn't be a part of it. Unfortunately. I would have definitely been, like, a theater kid, though. Like, 100%. I give theater kid energy, like, 100%. Oh, God. I know, Parker's so emo, y'all. Help. Chelsea, the fonts that I have are actually, like, I purchased them. I bought the licensing for them so I could use them in commercial things, like my branding and everything. So all of the fonts that you see are commercial licenses that I have bought from other artists, so from other small businesses. I don't exactly remember the names of them, I'm so sorry. I bought them several years ago. Like, 6 years ago now, I bought them. But it's important that if you are looking to do anything professional, to have your own branding and everything, to make sure that you are buying licenses to, like, even fonts, because, like, they can get you for that kind of stuff, so. Yeah, I've got the licenses to my fonts. Which is really good, and I also like supporting smaller creators, so I just kind of looked for people who had fonts on, like, Etsy and stuff, and bought from there. Or their own websites, even. Let's see. Color Sky, I think the reason why the hoarding situation persisted so badly, is that my dad kind of, like, got worse when it comes to being an alcoholic, so, like, he didn't really care to clean anymore. Like, he just declined in that way. It was just very graceful, just slow decline of, oh, fuck it, and just not cleaning anything up. Because, like, also, like, Candy was there making a wreck of everything. Anytime he did clean it, it would immediately get destroyed. Like, because, like, she had, like a serious problem. Like, she had to have things, like, destroyed, like, genuinely, so... Unfortunately, when it comes to that kind of, like, mental illness, as much cleaning as you could even possibly muster, the comfort for them is to be in chaos. So, like, it didn't matter how much my dad cleaned, and that's why he just eventually gave up. Which a lot of people can attest to when it comes to hoarding, and the tendencies that come with people who do it. It is not something you could just clean up after constantly. It is very distressing sometimes to clean it up. Like, it will cause... If we, like, cleaned stuff too much, Candy would get very, very aggro. Like, she'd get really mad about it, because it was just, like, messing with, like, her way, you know? Tip-a-clip, I don't think I'm gonna change my hoodie. I'm still wearing, like, the shirt underneath my little PNG tuber is still the same little shirt. I'm not gonna change the design or anything, it's already stuck for Persona Project. Maybe when it comes to Parker's era, I might update, like, at least give me a nose. Like, oh, big steps. But yeah, we'll see. People tend to freak the hell out about any little detail I change. Like, the moment I was like, yeah, I'm gonna update Parker and Haley just ever so slightly and give Robin a nose, people were like, oh my god! I was like, dude, y'all gotta chill, man. It's oh my god, like, it's okay, like, I'm allowed to change the designs. They're not even officially, like, at their eras yet. It would be crazy if I kept the same designs from the very, 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 very beginning. Like, my art is constantly growing and changing, and nothing is set in stone. It's not like your typical produced Netflix show where everything stays the same from start to finish. Like, this is like a real, raw person making their own life. Like, I'm entitled to change whatever I want. So... just a reminder not to be mean, but yeah, I do like my design changes. It's just kind of jarring when I make them and then people are like only hyper-focused on that and completely missing entire Persona Project episodes with very serious topics because they won't shut up about something like somebody's hair changed. And I'm like, guys, I animated a whole 2 minutes and 30 seconds where I sobbed and screamed and cried and threw up, and we're just gonna ignore that because someone's hair is shorter? Like, please. Please be sensitive with your comments, y'all. Like, please. Please think before you comment. Think about how insensitive that is. Yeah, anyways. Yes, I got that you got your nose joke. Yes, the nose is a sign of my healing. My nose has returned. Yes, see, now this is what I need. We need to joke about it. We need to poke fun at it, because it is funny. Like, looking backwards, like, where was your nose, bro? I don't know. The trauma took it. The trauma took my nose, bro. I got it back. I got it back. It was a hard-earned fight, and I got it back. And this is my trophy, and I will wear it proudly. I got a new jacket and a nose, bro. I'm so happy. That's what I'm saying. We need more silly. We need more silly. People evolving and changing say what? Which blooper is in your head rent-free, Brenna? The freaking Deltarune song that, like, I fully stinking animated for no reason. That was so funny. I literally... Okay, imagine the episode that's in the background right now, where I'm sobbing, and I'm hugging Blackbird. There's like 3 minutes of me sobbing and getting my shit together, and me going, why did this happen to me? This is so awful. I hate my life. And then, like... at some point, I just wiped my tears away and blew my nose. And then just, like, took a deep breath and started singing Crying in My Car. Like, literally, like, 3 minutes after a full-blown mental breakdown. It was so funny, bro. Like, that is just how I cope with stuff. Like, I cope with humor. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, my coping mechanism for a lot of things that happen to me is humor. And some people think that that's, like, messed up, but, like, honestly, that's just, like, how I roll. I cope with humor. And so I just, like, I just broke into that, maybe in a small fit of delusion and hysteria, but it was just really funny, and I animated it, and it was just really funny. Because I had it stuck in my head, because, like, I've been playing a lot of Deltarune, and the memes are so good. It's like, yeah, believe it or not, I have like a life outside of Persona Project. Crazy, I know. Crazy, I know. Oh, goodness. Yes, yes, I am healing very well. I got my nose back. Life is good. Oh, goodness. Yeah. There's so much to come up. Yes, laughing is the best medicine. It truly is. Okay, gamers. I'm gonna stop answering questions for now so I can go ahead and update you on what is to come for Persona Project in the future, what this next year, what you can expect, and all my plans going forward. So, let's right on over here. Hello. So yes, year 10 is complete. It has been for a week now. I took a week off to really focus on year 11. It is mostly written. There's a few really difficult episodes that I'm having a particularly hard time writing, to say the least. I really want to make sure I'm tackling the subjects correctly. They are very intense, like, oh, just absurdly intense. That being said, be prepared for majority of my videos for year 11 to be demonetized. I'm just saying, right off the bat. I'm gonna do my best to censor things as best as humanly possible. I don't want to censor these things, let me be absolutely clear. I think the word murder should be on the table, considering it is a very serious thing. You'll never catch me saying unalive. That's bullshit. What happened to my family is real. And, like, it's very much doing a disservice to the real people that were genuinely murdered in my life to say that they were unalive. That's just childish. Like, I'm sorry. Like, there are some things that I cannot censor, and because of that, I am willing to be demonetized. And there are going to be some topics that YouTube hates, and I am going to probably get videos taken down. I'm going to be fighting for my life for some of these episodes, so I do apologize for any episodes that need to be re-uploaded or even altered in some ways. Just know that I'm going to do my best to be as transparent as possible, because I think it's very important to use the real terminology, because this is real life. And just know that, yeah, I'm going to be taking quite a bit of a financial hit, so your support now more than ever is greatly appreciated, because, my god, am I going to make $0 next month? But that's okay. It's worth it. I need to tell the story the way that it is, because I have a lot in store for year 11. Please pay attention to the content warnings for year 11. I can't stress them enough. I really can't. Like, the things that are gonna come up are very brutal. They're just, it's the worst time of my life, and that should speak volumes considering everything you've already seen me go through. This is the peak of the bad in my life. So, please be warned, very serious subjects ahead. But I do have some good news. I am going to be opening the comment section of a lot of my Persona Project videos. I am going to have it be a very limited comment section, however. It is going to be that every single comment is going to be held for review, and then we're going to have our moderation team and myself approve of comments. So that way, you know, nothing super awful is getting through on videos that are really difficult for me to make in the first place. But that way we're also being able to show our support and help each other out and letting each other know that we're not alone in some of these very crazy subjects. So I think one of the ways that we're going to get through some of this tough stuff is just we're going to try to very gently allow comments again. I am doing a lot better mentally. I am definitely prepared to get some more of the sillier comments back and the happy positive things back into my life, and hear that I'm not alone anymore, because I feel like the past few years that I've been working on Persona Project with the comments off, it's been kind of lonely, man, and I'm kind of tired of that. So I am very excited to announce that, yeah, that is something I do plan on doing, although do be warned, some comments may just be off. Some of the episodes are so intense, I just don't really feel the need to have an audience tell me anything else about it. Like, there's just some episodes just, they're not on, and just please accept that. Please don't, you know, beg me to turn things on and stuff. That's not very helpful. Another thing, please stop commenting about Persona Project on things that are not related to Persona Project. If you do it, I'm hiding you from the channel. I'm kind of over it. You know how awful it is to be like, oh boy, someone commented on my Wobble Dogs video. I can't wait to see what they have, like, name suggestions they have for these silly dogs. And they're like, hey, I just saw that you don't allow comments on Persona Project, and I just had to say XYZ about my life. Like, bro, that is not what I need. That's not helpful. Do you even think before you comment? The comments are off. Obviously, maybe don't comment. So yeah, if you get hidden because of this, just know, that's because it's not allowed. So please stop doing that. Please, please, please. Keep it relevant. Talk about Persona Project on Persona Project. You will be allowed to now. Thank you. Alright. Enough of all that. I do have my rules and regulations video coming out tomorrow, so you can update yourself on what is allowed and what is not allowed. It is so thorough. It is like 20 minutes of me yapping, straight up yapping, about the do's and don'ts for pet peeves. And that includes everything from commenting, from fan art. There's just so many fan art things. God, I cover almost everything there is about fan art. There's about referencing different things, reposting, which is not allowed, by the way, and just all of the rules when it comes to anything on my channel. And I very much appreciate if you check it out when it comes out. Just refresh yourself. There's even a document version if you don't feel like listening to me yap. You could just skim through the document. That'd be wonderful. That'd be great. Other than that, I do plan on having episodes of Year 11 come out this week. Be prepared. I did cut a majority of Year 11's episodes as well. It is going to be a little bit shorter. It's going to be like 18 episodes right now. Some of them are really long. Some of them are actually pretty short because I just don't feel like talking about them all that much. And it's going to be a little bit of a weird system we're going to have going on for Year 11, so just bear with me. Again, videos will probably get taken down. Things are going to get demonetized. YouTube's probably going to come at me. It's probably going to get a little messy for a minute. I'm going to be hosting several fundraisers with this one. I'm going to be trying my best to raise money for causes that I deeply believe in, causes that saved my life on many occasions, and it's going to be a really awesome time that we can all come together and heal and help others heal. Even through the worst of my story, I feel like that's what's going to be really important. So thank you guys for being a huge part of this healing journey and being the positives in my healing journey. I really, really, really appreciate it. You guys are so awesome. And with that, I think I'm done yapping for the day. Can you tell I've missed being here? It's been 2 weeks for me. I've missed it. I can yap forever. But no, I need to rest my voice and I need to get started on animation actually today. So I will be doing that. And I will be seeing you guys next week. I stream every Sunday, and trust me, you don't want to miss next week's stream. Because guess what? My brother's joining us! Yes, I'm getting Evan to join us for next week's live stream. We're gonna play a video game together. It's the first time my brother's been on my channel for several years, so please be nice to him, and please, again, review those rules before you interact with my brother, because he is very different from I, and we very much appreciate you being respectful. Alright, so you guys have some great things to look forward to, and some other not so fun things like Year 11 that I do appreciate you helping me get through. So until then, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I hope you're enjoying the lovely fall weather. Hope you're enjoying pumpkin spice galore this October. And I will see you guys next week for silly antics. Okay, bye-bye!